Chapter 442. I once had 170 million in front of me, but I didn't cherish it. No, I cherished it, but a thief coveted it. It was only after I lost it that I regretted it. When he saw the message on his phone, Qin Guang thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Was there something wrong with UBS's system? Didn't you claim to be the safest bank on earth? Didn't I have to go through all the procedures and sign a bunch of documents when I transferred 10 million to Zhou Xian last time? Why did it disappear just like that? Anyway, I don't believe it. This was not as simple and cheap as buying an inflatable doll online. This was 170 million. 170 million was enough for me to help 10 cute girls for 28 years, and it was gone just like that. He didn't believe it, not even if he was beaten to death. So he entered the world in the cup and cried with Lu Li just to verify his thoughts, that things were not as bad as he thought. In the end, she said, guess. At this moment, Qin Guang wanted to remove the words, guess, and you from the Xinhua dictionary. He rolled on the ground, throwing a tantrum. No. I won't do it. How did you do it? It's gone just like that. At least let me sign it. I want to file a complaint against UBS. I want to sue them. Save it, you signed it. You signed it long ago. You were just waiting for the transfer today. Lu Li laughed. What? When did I sign it? I don't remember it at all. Qin Guang was confused. Then he looked at Lu Li's smiling face and instantly understood. Damn, the old man was tricked. I must have secretly hypnotized her at some point in time and then ran to sign the papers. So I don't remember anything. Lu Li laughed again with a look that said, you're smart. It's over. My last hope is gone. The money is really gone. Qin Guang's face was lifeless. His heart was dead, as if he had been sentenced to death. I don't care. I won't do it. I don't want to live. I don't want to live. I'll die in front of you. Money. 170 million. Angina pectoris, bronchitis, meningitis, and lumbar disc herniation all came. The money I earned with my life. In short, I don't want to live anymore. No one can stop me. Let me die. I want to die. This blow was really too painful. Even if old Master Guang had a heart of steel, he would still be smashed to pieces. When he thought of all that money, alright, I can't think about it anymore. I really can't think about it anymore. What? Someone said that Liuli used it to invest in business? Could you please stop fooling around? Letting a female otaku whose brain was filled with business skills learned from Big Time and the winds of time invest? It was better to just deposit the money in the bank and earn the interest. At this moment, Qin Guang's pitiful state was enough to make anyone who heard it cry. Throughout the past 5,000 years, no one had been more miserable than him. The wind was bleak, the water was cold, the 170 million did not return. Even Liuli, the instigator of all this, felt her nose turn sour. It was really a tragedy. Although the business handover had not been completed yet, it was better to let him know a little to make him happy. Alright, stop howling. It's not like I'm donating it to you. I'm really making an investment. I bought a company. I'm very optimistic about this business. How is it? Are you happy? Look at how you don't do proper work all day long. This emperor is such a considerate butler of the emperor, and you've become a big boss just by lying down. Your privately owned company. Don't you look forward to it just thinking about it? But I bought a company. Then wouldn't I be promoted in the future? I'll become Boss Guang? Qin Guang's eyes lit up. Damn, I'm scared to death. He didn't use it to invest in stocks or funds, nor did he use it to buy lottery tickets. Instead, he bought a company. This was really something to be thankful for. Right, what company is it? Where is it? Where are my employees? Are there many? Are there any beauties among the employees? Where's my office? Where's my factory? I'm going to my company for a stroll. A company that's worth 170 million can't possibly be one of those office. No shell companies, right? Liuli began to laugh again. Take a guess. Qin Guang was speechless. No matter how Qin Guang coaxed and pestered, Liuli refused to reveal anything in the end. She only said that she would tell him when the time came and the handover was completed. At that time he could just drive his phaeton there and act cool as a boss. How worry-free. Qin Guang couldn't do anything about her. He forced himself to look forward to the unknown industry and company that he didn't know where it was and what it was doing. Just as he was beginning to feel happy in his heart, Liuli revealed a little more. You don't be afraid. What investment judgment do I have? This company is a very popular emerging industry in your world now. I've seen their business report. The annual net income is close to 100 million. After deducting the cost, they'll earn at least 50 to 60 million. This time they've picked up a huge bargain. The boss of that company must have a hole in his head. How could he sell such a profitable company? I've been in the investment market for a long time before waiting for this heaven-sent opportunity. What the F***ck? The vitality that had just been ignited was extinguished by Liuli's words. How could someone with a business worth 1 or 200 million be a person with a hole in his head? Was it really so profitable that they could sell it so easily? How could a large company with a net annual profit of 50 to 60 million be sold for 170 million? No matter how one looked at it, they felt like they were living in a dream. Do you know anything about economics or business? Not to mention pure profit. A company with a net income of more than 100 million, even if it didn't have a single cent of net profit and could barely make ends meet, it wouldn't be sold for 170 million. Why are you looking at me like that? You don't believe me? You're not being a good friend. We can't be friends in the future. I can let you sign at the bank without knowing it, and I can also let you drink water when you're squatting to take a dump. Lord Liuli is wise. Unparalleled in strategy. With Lord Liuli's help, I, Qin Guang, will definitely be able to rise to the top. Next year I'll be on Forbes. What was the use of the so-called moral integrity? It was sold at that time. At the critical moment, it was sold at a worthwhile price. It was worth it. After spending so much time with Liuli, Qin Guang had already understood the mystery. Although she knew that he was talking nonsense, Liuli was still very pleased. Look at what you're saying. Even I'm a little embarrassed. You're doing quite well. Come, let me show you something good. There's a surprise. As she spoke, Liuli stood up, picked up Qin Guang and flew forward. Even Liuli said it was something good? Then how bad could it be? However, even though Qin Guang's eyes were wide open, he only felt that the boundless cloud city was empty. As far as the eye could see, there were only 3 statues on the top of the wall that almost reached the horizon. At this time they were about the size of a mosquito's leg in his eyes. This broken city was 2F*** big and empty. Dang dang dang. Do you see it? Are you happy? Do you like it? Qin Guang was held by the collar by Liuli and suspended in midair. He stared at the 3 statues in front of him that couldn't be more familiar. He couldn't even say a word. What a surprise, what a surprise. Then here's the problem. These 3 statues have moved to a new place. To be honest, I don't really understand why you dragged me here to see this strange thing. Liuli threw Qin Guang over hundreds of meters in midair and landed on the top of the alto on his back. Then she flew over. Take a look at the statues again. Is there anything different about them? Qin Guang narrowed his eyes and observed for a long time. Rubbing the top of the alto with his hands for a long time, he asked suspiciously, "Are they more textured?" I'm so pissed off. Liuli couldn't hold it back anymore. She rushed over and waved her feather robe to strangle his neck. Are you playing dumb in front of me? Can't you tell that it's so obvious? Believe it or not, I will strangle you to death. Qin Guang declared solemnly, I don't believe it. If you strangle me to death, you won't have a savior. Half an hour later, Qin Guang slowly regained his consciousness. Damn it, this person is too crazy. He nearly strangled her to death. When he opened his eyes, she was still standing there with a sneer. You've noticed that you're different now? Qin Guang nodded. Yes, I found it. The power of faith is gone. Liuli finally smiled. At least you have some eyesight. Qin Guang's face darkened. He thought if it weren't for the fact that I can't beat you, I would definitely strangle you to death. The power of faith was slapped away by you when I leveled up. The white threads that covered the sky and the ground were all gone. How could I not see such an obvious change? But I didn't think it was important. Is this your so-called surprise? Alright, you are the true master of the heavenly Holy Grail. You should be more careful. Close your eyes and use your heart to feel the changes in this statue. Otherwise, I will let you have a taste of the power of the lustrous feather raiment. Damn it. He still remembered how cool the feather robe was when they first met. It looked like a magical armor. It turned out that the power of this thing was that it could strangle people's necks with its water sleeves. Resisting the desire to ridicule in his heart, Qin Guang sat cross-legged on the top of the alto statue and began to feel the changes inside with his eyes closed. Why did he have to sit cross-legged? Because it looked very dignified. After a long time, Qin Guang slowly opened his eyes. he couldn't hide the pleasant surprise on his face. Lily really didn't lie to him. The benefits of leveling up from seeing spirit sky to one-line sky were not as simple as building an empty city in the sea of clouds. Instead, they were earth-shattering changes. Chapter 443. The benefits that he had yet to experience were the ones that Azure had mentioned long ago. One line of sky could support skills that were stronger than Jianling sky. For example, when he was in Jianling sky, the skills that he learned usually stopped at physical skills or English, which was a very targeted language. It wasn't easy for him to learn how to play the piano that looked elegant. Even though the statue of a god was right there, he actually didn't have any musical attainments at all. He was just a player that played the piano according to music scores. So far, the most profound skill in Jianling sky was the game Dota. Dota was also something that required the use of one's brain. But the reason why Qin Guang's Dota level was so high was because he wasn't stupid to begin with, and his gaming talent wasn't bad either. His gaming awareness was constantly strengthened under the strengthening of his memory, and his personal operation also became as swift and precise as a machine under the repetitive and boring training. But after the upgrade, the level of one line of sky became even higher, and it could support some skills that couldn't support before. For example, acting skills that had once caused him so much pain that he wanted to die, and he had to rely on Azure's hypnosis to get through on Big Beard Deng's set, acting skills. At that time, Azure had said that if he wanted to support acting skills in the world in the cup, he needed at least one line of sky. There was no problem now. Of course, if Qin Guang really wanted to learn, he still had to wait for the heavenly Holy Grail to prepare the world in the cup first, and then Azure would inform him one day in advance. During this whole day, he didn't have to be busy with other things. When he was eating, sleeping, and walking, he would have to ponder acting skills in his heart, and he would eventually bump into the world in the cup. Other than that, the Heavenly Holy Grail also specially introduced a custom-made service. If there was a need, after certain conditions were met, he could even activate the special custom-made world in the cup on the spot. Bao Shuang Bao Chong Bao Nidin. As long as one line of sky could support it, then he would have it. This was really amazing. For example, when Qin Guang was buying vegetables at the market and haggling with the vegetable seller to no avail, the Heavenly Holy Grail would provide a custom-made service. Please give me a world in the cup of bargaining. Then, under the bombardment of the middle-aged woman from the market, Qin Guang could smile domineeringly and coolly, take a sip of tea, and then transform into Bao Longxing in the 9th grade Sesame official played by Stephen Chow. He opened his mouth and spat out countless mysterious codes to blast the middle-aged woman into pieces. Of course, this was definitely overkill, like using a cannon to kill a mosquito. This was just a more vivid example. However, such a domineering special service definitely required a fee, and the fee was not cheap. The so-called fee was reflected in the transformation of the statue. The countless threads of faith power that had been connected to the statue disappeared along with the statue under Lu Li's palm strike. After the wall of Cloud City was rebuilt, the 3 statues reappeared on the platform at the top of the wall, but the power of faith did not recover. At first, Qin Guang didn't pay much attention to this matter. After all, according to what Lu Li said before, the faith power of all the statues was completely fixed when the realm in the cup was perfected. Upgrading from spirit-seeing sky to one-line sky, it was reasonable for the faith power to be completely used up. If it was gone, then it was gone. It didn't hurt or itch. But at this moment, under Lu Li's reminder, he sat cross-legged for a long time and found all kinds of strange things. The faith power of the past was indeed gone, and it was replaced by the power of faith. And it was the kind that could be recharged. If he wanted to activate the special function of the Holy Grail, such as custom-made realm in the cup or something else, he had to consume the power of faith. Unlike the power of faith, which was formed in one go when the statue was erected, this power of faith was empty at the beginning. Then it would be filled up bit by bit and stored in the statue. Once it reached a sufficient amount, it would be able to activate the custom-made world in the cup or other functions. The method to refill the power of faith was also very simple. It was similar to the power of faith, which was to make people continuously worship his skills in a certain aspect. As long as people worship him, there would be an endless supply of faith. For example, the half-alto car in the racing cup had stored about 10,000 units of the power of faith after accumulating for half a day. The power of faith in the piano statue was much less. After all, it was a relatively small thing, and there were only about 500 units of the power of faith stored in it. As for the pencil statue, don't forget about the odd 5 units inside. In addition, the power of faith had another similarity with the power of faith of its predecessor. The stronger the faith, the more abundant the supply of faith. Taking the brainless fan Big Sister Lu Fei as an example, out of the 1 million units of the power of faith currently collected, Lu Fei alone had provided 20 units. Since the upgrade in the afternoon, Sister Lu Fei's brain had been continuously sending faith to her. High output, high quality, it was just like a Shell gas station. Listen. The more worship, the greater the output. And it could be continuously recharged. The 10 great car kings who had been defeated by him back then were not that far off. The weakest of them all, the British car king of the rising sun, had sent 2 units each. Damn it, why did that Tai Sissy Pan Junyao give 25 units? You're going against the heavens. How is it? The new function of the Holy Grail hasn't disappointed you, right? Are you surprised? Happy? When Qin Guang opened his eyes, Lu Li said with a smile. I'm so happy that I'm going to explode. Boss Guang cried tears of joy. The internet celebrity account he had painstakingly created had not been in vain. In this era of information explosion, what better way to collect faith than to become an internet celebrity and post videos to get clicks? The old man had really planned ahead and predicted the future. Qin Guang, who had hit the jackpot by a fluke, was as happy as a 200-pound child. Speaking of which, let me give you an example. Let's talk about the acting skills of an actor. If I wanted to customize my acting skills once, how much power of faith would I need? Qin Guang was laughing happily. Lu Li calculated with her fingers. I've been watching a lot of television dramas recently. There's an actor overseas called Xiao Li who just won an Oscar, right? Currently, Xiao Li should be one of the best actors in the world, right? Qin Guang nodded. Yes. If I wanted to be as good as Xiao Li, how much power of faith would I need? 6,538,679. Damn it. Do you have to be so precise? I'm talking nonsense. Just consider it as 54 million. No, let's round it up to 6,600,000. Is there a need for that much? I'm really thankful that you didn't round it up to 100 million. Based on my calculations, I've earned about 10,550 yuan in half a day. If my reputation doesn't rise or fall, that's an average of 21,010 yuan per day. It'll take 314 days for me to earn enough for a small plum. Lu Li shrugged. What else can I do? Do you think custom-made services are so common? Under normal circumstances, the world in a cup requires the heavenly Holy Grail to keep accumulating energy, and I've painstakingly cultivated my divine power. Only when the conditions are met can it be delivered to you. This custom-made world in a cup can be had whenever you want it. Whatever you want to practice, it can be given to you. The energy required is all from faith. You get what you pay for. How can it be cheap? I understand the logic, but my heart still hurts. Qin Guang clutched his chest. Lu Li patted his head. Stop acting cute here. It's useless. That's why I'm urging you to quickly set up a statue. You're not famous enough right now and you have too few idols. Think about it this way. If you had 3,000 idols right now and every one of them was as powerful as your broken alto, you could just place them there and earn tens of millions of faith energy a day. How great would that be? Qin Guang nodded. That's true. Then he roared at the sky. My fans, you need to top up your faith. If I don't top up, how am I going to become stronger? Lu Li, speaking of which, the name Power of Whatever is too vulgar. I have a better name. Qin Guang didn't care that Lu Li was about to be shocked by his chunibyu. What is it? Lu Li asked. Qin Guang nodded heavily. Faith. That's right. The focus is on the word, value. This way, I can constantly remind myself to think of ways to get my fans to top up their faith. In Lu Li's long divine life, she rarely had the urge to strangle someone, but now she couldn't hold it in any longer. After a long while, she finally suppressed the violent tendencies in her heart. Alright, I'll show you the second thing. Qin Guang was amused. There's more? He still didn't know that he had taken a trip to the gates of hell. What's this? I know you like to surf the internet, but you don't have to set up so many monitors, do you? After the two of them landed at the foot of the wall, Qin Guang finally realized that this Yunqing wasn't really empty. Apart from Lu Li's computer, there were other things. They were 9 monitors embedded on the ground at the edge of the city wall. He didn't understand. The heavenly Holy Grail's world in the cup was such a fairy-like place. Luli really didn't know how to behave at all. Putting a computer in the middle was fine. She hadn't even had enough fun yet, but she had inexplicably placed 9 monitors on the ground. Wasn't she just trying to scare people? She was pulling down the level. Think again, why don't you look again? Why don't you try pouring some faith points into any of the monitors? Luli smiled without saying a word. She had an enigmatic look. Qin Guang tried it according to her words and immediately understood the uniqueness of these 9 monitors. This wasn't an ordinary monitor. What was displayed inside was the scene of the world in the cup that he had experienced before. Every scene you see is a ray of information transmitted from the world in the cup. Currently your level is too low. In order to make it easier for you to understand, I deliberately made it look like a computer monitor. You can just treat it as watching a movie. Actually, these are the plain projections of the world in the cup. But because the world in the cup is currently only at the second level one-line sky, it is still at the level of a small 2D projection. As the level of the heavenly Holy Grail continues to increase, the planar projection method will also become more and more complete. When it reaches the highest level, the 9 heavens beyond heaven, the planar projection that will appear in this cloud city will be the entire realm in a cup. At that time, for example, the sea of time that you have experienced before, it will turn into a complete miniature plane. You can stand beside the sea of time and casually wave a gust of wind to blow the water surface in the projection. In the sea of time there will also be a violent storm. You will be the master of the sea of time. In addition, as long as you have enough energy, you can even enter and exit the world in the cup at will. You can enter and leave as you please. I once told you that there are trillions of cute girls in the 3,000 worlds. It wasn't a lie. Chapter 444. Lili said so much in one breath and seemed to be a little annoyed. You think about it yourself, I still have to help you increase your points. The Southeast Asian server you have over 10,000 points yourself. I have already given you 8,000 points for the US server, only the European server is left. After saying that, Lili was about to leave. Before leaving she said again, if you are interested you can stay here and experience this plane projection display for fun. But you have to be careful, connecting to the projection requires faith points. After you have played enough you can go out by yourself. Now you can enter and exit the cup world. Qin Guang waved his hand at Lili's back. It's okay, you do what you need to do, I will leave after looking at something new. Just now when he sent a little faith points to the first display, what he saw was the first time he experienced the world of transient sea. The image that flashed on the display was that of the Captain Annie that he once yearned for day and night. It was not easy to see her again. How could he just take a look? Was it worthy of the unforgettable memory of hanging on the mast of the Anne Royal and being exposed to the sun and wind? Moreover, other than the Anne Royal, the other cup worlds were really not worth looking at. Of the 9 cup worlds he had experienced before, only the transient sea could barely be considered a complete world. The others were just playthings, mosaics or small broken ponds. As for those NPCs in the piano world, it was better to save energy. Then why must he wait until Lili was far away before looking at it? Because Captain Annie was taking a bath. Looking at Captain Annie soaking in the royal bathtub and playing with rose petals, Qin Guang drooled all over the floor. How many times had he been hung on the mast in order to peep at her bathing? Now not only could the old man look, he could also look openly, he could even zoom in and out, he could even do a close-up. What can you do to me? This was an obsession, this was a nightmare, this was a man's highest pursuit in the transient sea. Blonde hair and blue eyes, Captain Annie was so beautiful, years of practicing swordsmanship made her figure perfect, there was not a single bit of fat on her body. I see it. I see it. Ha! Old Jack, you idiot, you owe me 500 gold berries. Captain has no hair. Ah! Just as Qin Guang was having a good time, a notification sounded in his head. Your faith points are in arrears, please top up, the live broadcast is about to end. Damn it! How long have I been watching it? Watching the transient sea is so expensive? Only then did Qin Guang recall the cost of viewing the Sea of Moments projection. Shortly after he cursed in his heart. 10,000 faith points per minute. I worked so hard to build 3 statues and only earn a little more than 20,000 a day, but watching it is 10,000 a minute. This poor thing, the cost of spending in the world in cup is so high it. How can I not be angry? No, it wasn't easy to get a glimpse of the Sea of Moments. I can't just let Captain Annie be the only one to waste it. I casually pull the lens to see if anything happened in the Sea of Moments. The image changed and a large ship suddenly appeared in the vast sea. He quickly pulled closer and looked at the familiar flag on the ship. His face turned pale. The image changed and a large ship suddenly appeared in the vast sea. He quickly pulled closer and looked at the familiar flag on the pirate ship. His face turned pale. There were hundreds of thousands of pirate groups in the transient sea, and every pirate group had their own flag with a skull. The royal and was a skull wearing a crown, and below it were crossed swords and roses. But what kind of pirate crew was this? Why didn't they use a skull? Instead they used a sketched portrait. That was fine, but why did this sketch look so much like the real person? It only took Qin Guang less than 0.5 seconds to recognize himself. There was nothing he could do about it since he was too handsome. Even a simple sketch couldn't conceal his handsomeness. Who is the unlucky captain of this ship? This can't be a coincidence. There can't be anyone as handsome as me in the transient sea. I quickly pulled closer. A one-eyed woman was standing on the deck of the pirate ship. She was waving a metal hook in her left hand. Her right leg was also a wooden prosthetic. She shouted, "Our Radiance Pirate Group." Her voice stopped and the image turned black. "Your faith is in arrears." The projection stopped. With his mouth widened, Qin Guang formed a no shape. Even if he only looked at that woman for less than a second, he could still recognize her with a single glance. What nonsense. Ling Qin. Why is it Ling Qin? This is the biggest joke in the world. She's playing with me. She only had one eye, one leg and one arm. Even though she was wearing an eye patch, the hideous centipede scar on her face had long since disappeared, but the mark was still very obvious. Coupled with the sketch of herself wearing a Nike sports cap, the symbol of the pirate group and the name of the Radiance Pirates. It must be Ling Qin herself. But didn't she die in front of me? How did she run to the transient sea and become a pirate captain? Even with my infinite wisdom, I can't figure out why. Wait, what the hell is this? One faith point. Just as his mind was filled with all sorts of thoughts, he saw an extremely weak wisp of faith jump out from the projection screen that had long since turned black. It wobbled as it flew high into the sky, and with a whoosh, it was sucked into the piano god statue. My god, the world in a cup can also produce faith? There's actually another unit. That's not a small amount. Wait, this faith was given by Ling Qin? That's right. Qin Guang confirmed this after communicating with the piano statue. This was too strange. Ling Qin's death was undeniable. Qin Guang had also seen her turn into a box of ashes in the funeral parlor. But now she was still alive and in his world in a cup? Could it be that the Holy Grail can absorb the souls of those who died around me? Then the souls of those who died in my hands, such as Shizhou and Xiang Guoming's bodyguards, were absorbed as well? He felt like he was about to turn into 100,000 Ys and was completely confused. He couldn't figure it out, so he hurriedly ran to Liuli to ask what was going on. At this time her game had just started, and Qin Guang had forgotten about the important matter at hand. Stop messing around. How can this hero play the mid lane? What kind of equipment is this? What kind of teammates do you have? They don't even have chicken dinner when they go out. Shut up. Right, I saw an acquaintance in the transient sea just now. A friend of mine from the real world just passed away. Why did she run to the transient sea and become a pirate captain? What's going on? Liuli waved her hand impatiently. Don't ask me, I'm not a know-it-all. I already said that you're the first person to try out the Holy Grail. You're a lab rat, so anything weird can happen. It's impossible for me to know everything. In the end, Qin Guang was chased out dejectedly. There was nothing he could do about it. However, there was a particularly good thing about his personality. If he encountered a problem that he couldn't figure out and couldn't solve, he would never get stuck in a dead end. If he couldn't get an explanation from Liuli about the Holy Grail, then it was a complete and unsolvable mystery. There was no one else in this world who could guide him. Thus he simply scrolled through his Weibo, calling it a diversion. After scrolling through his Weibo for a while, the situation on the internet didn't stop. The omnipotent Superman's vetting process was so fast that it made people's hair stand on end. He had just filled in his information not too long ago, and now there was already a big V under his profile picture. From now on, his Weibo account was signed to an independent media, and he would be able to collect a lot of traffic fees every month. There were also people sending him private messages one after another, wanting to discuss the matter of adverts. However, Qin Guang didn't plan to accept them for the time being. In the eyes of others, a Weibo account with tens of millions of fans was already very impressive, But Qin Guang felt that his road to being an internet celebrity had just begun. In order to get more fans to top up their faith, all the Weibo posts in the future had to be made more popular. He couldn't accept advertisements easily, and his Weibo updates had to be of high quality to increase his popularity. Of course, if someone offered $1 million per post, it wasn't impossible to negotiate. Obviously, no one would be so stupid as to spend too much money. Then he happily looked at the comments under his Weibo and replied. It didn't take long before he was filled with displeasure. Damn it, these grandsons, are they still bothered about the relationship between the old man and Jin Shiyue? Aren't you guys tired? Although he said that, when he really thought about it, he felt that something was wrong. At first, Jin Shiyue announced her relationship on Weibo to support him. She was worried that if he didn't manage to bring down Su Lijing and Wang Ren, she would get back at him later. So, by tying the two of them together, it was equivalent to a gold medal that would exempt him from death. Although Qin Guang felt very embarrassed, Jin Shiyue acted first and reported later, so she didn't give him a chance to reject her good intentions. However, for a popular artist, it was still a huge sacrifice. In particular, Jin Shiyue was a youth idol with great potential. To fall in love at the age of 20, this could be said to be a fantasy among female artists. It would definitely have a significant impact on her popularity. It could be seen from the many comments under her Weibo that turned from fans to anti-fans. Now that the matter was over and she was exposed, would she choose to repost on Weibo to distance herself from the relationship? However, it had only been a few days since she announced her relationship. If she went back on her words immediately, wouldn't it be too childish? It would make people feel that she was treating her fans like fools. Just thinking about the twists and turns in this matter, Qin Guang felt a headache for Jin Shiyue. It was the guy who exposed him that caused the situation to become like this. If his identity wasn't confirmed, Jin Shiyue's boyfriend with the surname Chen would just be an illusory character, living only in her Weibo. It wouldn't affect her that much. As long as he didn't show up, sooner or later, people would forget about him. In the future, at an appropriate time, she would separate on good terms again and the matter would be over. However, now that he was exposed, the boyfriend with the surname Chen had changed from a fictional character to a real person. The concept in people's minds was completely different. Chapter 445. Clicking on Jin Shiyue's Weibo, Qin Guang was bored to death as he pressed F5 to refresh the page. He thought to himself, if I were Jin Shiyue, I would definitely come up with an excuse to distance myself from this. For example, I would say that my account was hacked, or that I would release a new song or drama that was relevant to the topic. I would say that I was joking with everyone and that it was actually to promote my new work. Even if people scolded me for being malicious, it was still better than directly admitting my relationship. Similar cases of fake exposure of a relationship to promote a new work were not unheard of. In the past, Jin Shiyue never did such things, but it did not mean that she could not do it. Suddenly, Jin Shiyue's Weibo was updated. I didn't want him to appear in the public eye so soon. He is very low-key and he is not a rich young master. He is just an ordinary university student. But love has nothing to do with identity, and it does not distinguish between rich and poor. Please do not disturb his life. Thank you. There was a picture attached below, a heart made of 2 hands. She did not deny it but further admitted it. She did not take advantage of this last opportunity to distance herself from this relationship, and instead made it even more solid. Qin Guang did not give up and refreshed the page twice before he was sure that he did not see wrongly. He quickly switched to Jiang Yage's Weibo. She had also just updated, blessing the Moonlight CP. It was really fun to watch a show. You even gave me and Jin Shiyue the title of Moonlight CP. Speaking of which, I am a man, the word light should be in front, right? But moonlight is indeed more reliable and artistic than light moon. Damn, what time is it now? What am I thinking in my head? Qin Guang covered his forehead and his mind was in a daze. In the end, he was sinking deeper and deeper. He did not get to eat the meat, but he caused a lot of trouble. Moreover, the other party was helping him out of kindness. Who could he blame? As Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage's Weibo updated, his Superman's Weibo started to become noisy again. It was not clear whether it was fans or haters, but they were clamoring for him to post something in response. How would Qin Guang dare to reply? Who knew what was waiting for him tomorrow? He made up his mind. Forget it, I don't care about this anymore. I'll make another dart video to boost my popularity and then go to sleep. Let's talk about it even if the sky falls down. Would becoming famous cost one's life? I don't believe it. He took out the darts he had stolen from Lu Fei's house and poked at Bai Nyangzi's wardrobe. Then he sent them on the forum with satisfaction. Anyway, he didn't know which grandson had exposed him, so he didn't need to wear a mask and just uploaded it. Looking at Bai Nyangzi's wardrobe full of holes, he felt a little guilty and decided to make it up to him. Below was the caption: "Friends who like to read female-oriented novels, please take note. I have a beautiful author friend who wrote a book called Billionaire Young Master's Venomous Spoiled Little Wife. Please love me 1001 more times. Don't read it, you will die. Go to bed, sleep, tomorrow is a brand new day." At about 7 in the morning, Qin Guang woke up. It was not that he had slept enough, but it was really noisy downstairs. What kind of people in the world were the most well-informed? What kind of people were the most pervasive? There were 3 kinds of people in total: entertainment reporters, paparazzi, and veteran paparazzi entertainment reporters. Well, they were all the same kind of people. It had only been one night since his identity had been exposed, and his residence had been discovered. His identity as a third-year student at Wujing University, coupled with such a clear head-on photo without a hat, it would be unprofessional of an entertainment reporter with a keen sense of smell not to dig him out. Of course, it was also Qin Guang's fault for not having enough experience. If it were a veteran in the entertainment industry, it would be impossible for him to continue staying in the school dormitory. He would have run away overnight to who knows where. After being woken up, Qin Guang quietly poked his head out and looked down. His dormitory was on the 5th floor and he could hear the noise downstairs. Looking and listening, it really made his scalp go numb. I'm going to die. Last night, he had only thought that he might be surrounded by Jin Shiyue's fan club in the morning. In the end, he was wrong. After all, it was summer vacation. For example, there were probably less than 20 students in his dormitory, and there were only a few hundred students in the entire school. The fan club had not been organized, but the more vicious entertainment reporters had appeared. In the past, he always heard how vicious reporters were. That time, he and Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage hid from the paparazzi at Disneyland, and it was thrilling. But at that time, there was only one paparazzi. Now there was a dense mass of reporters downstairs like locusts. "I am a reporter from Xihua Entertainment Weekly. Let me in. We want to interview Qin Guang. This is my reporter's ID. Big sister, please let me in. I gave the chief editor a military order when I left this morning. If I can't interview him, I'll have to pack up and leave. I am a reporter from Dechuan TV station." Interviewing Qin Guang was an order from the station leader. "We got permission from the provincial propaganda department. Let us in." All sorts of emotions were stirred up and the situation was out of control. These were all scourges and ferocious beasts that wanted to eat people alive. "I don't care who you want to interview, but this is a school. Inside is the student dormitory. Unauthorized people are not allowed to enter. All of you stay here. Wait for him to come out. If anyone dares to barge in, I'll call the police. I'll call for help. Why are you all howling so early in the morning? You're disturbing the students' sleep." He never thought that the dormitory lady would actually stand up to them at this time. He saw the burly, fierce-looking dormitory lady with thick eyebrows and big eyes. Her hands were on her hips and she was holding a broom in her right hand. She looked exactly like the female version of Zhang Fei on Dangyang Bridge. She had the posture of one woman holding the pass and 10,000 people could not get through. Qin Guang was touched. "Big sister, why didn't I realize that you were so fierce in the past? You're really a good person." "That's not right." It seems that every time he owed electricity bills, the dormitory lady would act like this. Qin Guang. Qin Guang is coming out. As expected of an entertainment reporter. Qin Guang had only appeared for such a short time, and he was still separated by 5 floors, but he was recognized at a glance. Then he pointed at his window and shouted. Seeing that the situation was not good, Qin Guang quickly shrank his neck. There was only one thought in his mind. Run. He changed his clothes as fast as he could, packed his belongings and carried his backpack on his back, preparing to escape. Without further ado, he could not stay in this dormitory anymore. He would first go out and hide for a while. As for where to hide, he had not thought of it yet. In short, he would escape as soon as possible. Open the door. Oh my God. Why didn't I see other students coming in and out of the dormitory just now? It seems that these traitors are all extremely treacherous and squatting at the door. Outside the door of the dormitory, there were 17 to 18 people squatting on the stairs. At a glance, there were heads everywhere. At this time, if he could transform into the earth-shaking god ox and use his ultimate skill, he would be able to kill 18 people in 1 second. Qin Guang was a celebrity in the Jianhuan Academy. More than 1,000 boys in the Jianhuan Academy also lived in Dormitory 7. Among the dozens of people blocking the door, most of them were from the same academy and they all knew each other. When they saw the news last night, they still could not believe that the Qin Guang in the news was really Qin Guang from their academy. After all, they saw each other all the time and they were very familiar with each other. There were so many reporters this morning and they had to believe it even if they did not want to. What are you guys doing? Are you going to burn me to death? Qin Guang took a step back and was ready to fight. Oh my god. It's really you. Go Wei, who was standing in the front row, shouted in surprise. During the military training, Qin Guang was in the same class as him, and the two of them had a good relationship. When they bumped into each other in the canteen, they would sit together to eat and talk nonsense. When they beat up Ding Lu's boyfriend, the two dormitories also agreed to beat him up together. No. Qin Guang covered his face. It was useless to explain. *CK. Go Wei was the first to shout. Then a black mass of people rushed in. Of course, when they said they beat him up, it was just a joke. They just felt that it was too unimaginable, too unbelievable. Qin Guang, who always joked and talked nonsense with them, and occasionally played football and games with them, suddenly became Jin Shiyue's boyfriend. It was like a dream. After the crowd messed around with Qin Guang for a long time, they finally settled down. They were envious, they hated, and they were jealous. Among the dozen or so people, there were indeed two hardcore fans of Jin Shiyue. One of them was Go Wei and the other was a guy majoring in water supply and drainage. He was in the same dormitory as Qin Guang's high school classmate, Deng Haiyang, and they were very familiar with each other. Qin Guang promised 2 Jin Shiyue autographed CDs to settle the two guys down. Brother Guang, just tell us the truth. We are all on the same side here. I still can't believe it, Go Wei said as he squeezed Qin Guang's hand. Qin Guang pulled his hand back. *CK. If you want to talk, just say it. Why are you squeezing my hand? Alright, let me show you. I am indeed an omnipotent Superman. After that, he went back to the dormitory and took out a pencil and knife. *CK. Lei Zun. *CK Uncle Li. *CK Uncle Li. Uncle Li, hang in there. The dozen or so people in the dormitory were shocked by his display of power in front of them. I've watched the video many times, but it's not as shocking as your live performance. Oh my god, how do your hands grow? How can they be so flexible? Could it be that Goddess Jean fancies you because of your god's finger? Go Wei started to grope Qin Guang's hand with a wretched expression. He was even targeting Qin Guang's middle finger. A few of the guys who were close to him also came up to him wanting to touch his hand. No matter how slow Qin Guang's reaction was, how could he not know what these guys were thinking? These bastards were too wretched. All of them were thinking that touching his hand was equivalent to taking advantage of Jin Shiyue. Especially Go Wei, who looked like he wanted to suck my middle finger in his mouth. Luckily, I have never touched Jin Shiyue before, or I would have been at a disadvantage. He sent them flying with a single kick. There's a change in his faith? There was a sudden movement from the pencil god statue in Yunqing, and it instantly increased by 3 points. Normally, the pencil god statue could only produce 10 pieces a day. The sudden increase of 3 was too obvious. Chapter 446. Qin Guang was speechless as he looked at the bunch of grandsons in front of him. However, his heart was blooming with joy. The effect of showing off his godly skills in front of everyone was too outstanding. That's right, the technique of sharpening pencils was actually useless. However, this didn't stop others from worshipping him. After showing off his prowess in front of them, in their hearts he would definitely be the strongest pencil sharpener in the world. At the very least, when it came to sharpening pencils, they would become his fanatical fans. His heart was aching. Why didn't he have a statue of a god in picking up girls? If not just because of his girlfriend, Jin Shiyue, and the fact that countless people worshipped his godly skill in picking up girls, he would be able to earn a few thousand points of faith in a day. Forget it, don't bother about the details. After discovering this benefit, the way Qin Guang looked at the bunch of people in front of him changed. It was very gentle and amiable. They weren't humans but walking faith. However, Go Wei, who was a brainless fan of Jin Shiyue, still found the main point. He pulled Qin Guang to ask if Jin Shiyue was talking about him and if it was true. Qin Guang habitually denied, "No, there's no such thing." In the end, not a single one of them believed him. They all felt that he was talking nonsense. Think about it. Although I'm an internet celebrity now, that's Jin Shiyue. She and I are worlds apart. How could she like me? Although she said it with the surname Qin, there are so many people with the surname Qin in the world. Why did it have to be me? That post that exposed my past was not wrong, but the person Jin Shiyue likes is really not me, Qin Guang. She even talked about the light in my life. Isn't that a normal confession joke? It's very touching. The light in her life is me, Qin Guang? I want to, but I'm not good enough for her, okay? Qin Guang was also having a headache. To his own people, he could tell them the cause and effect of Wang Ren and Su Lijing's involvement, and others would believe it. However, most of the people in the dormitory were not that close. The matter between Wang Ren and Su Lijing was too big, and it couldn't be mentioned again. If it was spread out, it would cause a lot of trouble. This was also something that Wu Shan had specifically instructed. Without Su Lijing as a shield and a reason, his quibbling seemed very weak and unconvincing. He could only use the difference in status between him and Jin Shiyue as an excuse. Go Wei still looked at Qin Guang skeptically. Qin Guang thought to himself, if it wasn't for the fact that you're constantly sending me letters, I would definitely beat you up. Go Wei added, that makes sense, but I also think that the goddess is right. Love had nothing to do with one's status or status. If it were any other celebrity, I definitely wouldn't believe it. But if it's our Shiyue, I think she's the kind of pure girl who pursues true love. She's the most pure girl in the world. The love she wants is real love. Qin Guang's mouth formed a no shape. The world of diehard fans was really scary. I can't lend a statue to Jin Shiyue to collect faith points. I'm really sorry. Just based on your love-struck expression, you alone should be worth hundreds of faith points, right? My heart hurts, it's wasted just like that. Qin Guang looked at Go Wei's forehead, his eyes shining. He felt as if he was looking at a mountain of gold and silver but couldn't bring it home. At this moment, another die-hard fan of Jin Shiyue snorted, "Brother Guang, I almost believed you." As he said that, he took out his phone and placed it in front of Qin Guang. A minute ago, Goddess Shiyue just posted on Weibo. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is not to open my eyes, but to miss you in my heart. I love you, Qin Guang. I fell asleep listening to your piano last night and had a good sleep. When are you going to play a song for me? My dear light kiss. Actually, the one who posted this was not Jin Shiyue but Jiang Yage. The one who announced their relationship was Jin Shiyue, not her, Jiang Yage. She had 1,000 feelings in her heart but nowhere to express them, so she used Jin Shiyue's account to post it. Others might not understand, but Jiang Yage knew that when Qin Guang saw the "My dear light" and "kiss," he would definitely understand that it was her, Jiang Yage, who said it. But others didn't see it that way. Far away in Beijing's Villa District, Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage were already in bed, laughing and fooling around. In Wujing, Qin Guang was also completely dumbfounded under the gaze of dozens of pairs of eyes. He swallowed his saliva. This Qin Guang, isn't he? Jiang Yage, you did it on purpose, right? You must have a grudge against me. That's right, Qin Guang knew that it was Jiang Yage who posted the Weibo, but he wasn't moved at all. He only wanted to drown her with his saliva. You're still quibbling. I was there when you wore a mask and played the piano at Wujing Art Center that day. You hit it so deeply, really deeply, so deeply that I can't see the bottom. Go Wei wailed at the top of his lungs as he tugged at his hand. Another die-hard fan of Jin Shiyue also broke down. How did you get her? Goddess Shiyue has never said such things before. What have you turned our goddess into? Speak. Leniency if you confess. Resistance will be severe. If you don't tell the truth, I'll post this photo. Go Wei took out his phone and placed it in front of Qin Guang. Faster, thief. You actually took a photo of me sleeping during the military training. Looking at the photo on Go Wei's phone, where he was sprawled out on the lower bunk, wearing only his briefs, Qin Guang's face turned green. It seemed like he had to tell the truth. He straightened his expression and became unprecedentedly serious. You might not believe it, but Jin Shiyue was the one who made the first move. Oh no, the first confession. I see. No wonder normal people can't reject her. Goddess Shuriwe is really a good woman that you won't be able to find even if you had a lantern. You've really hit the jackpot. Hey, you guys believed it just like that. Goddess. She's indeed our goddess. Courageous love, pure love, bold love. He would never be pretentious, nor would he be timid. She doesn't care if you're rich or poor or ugly or even if you're just a student. She says she loves you and she loves you. I want to be a fan of this kind of Jin Shuriwe too. In the end, Qin Guang was still defeated by this group of people. Alright, quiet down. I wanted to run earlier and you guys wasted more than 10 minutes. There are even more reporters downstairs. Now tell me, what should I do? I have to run. Don't. Tell us how far the two of you have progressed. Go Wei still didn't give up. Save it. How can I tell you such a private matter? If I say that we're only in a platonic relationship, and that I haven't touched her hand until now, would you believe me? Yes. We believe everything Jin Shuyue's boyfriend says. But when you were saving people in the lake, didn't you touch her? Don't mention it. I was scared out of my wits at that time. How could I care about touching anything? I'm such an upright person. My mind would never have such dirty thoughts. Qin Guang didn't need to prepare a script to lie. In fact, his ripped briefs were about to burst. In the end, he successfully escaped with the help of this group of people. The method was simple. There was only one entrance to the dormitory, but one of his buddies' dormitory rooms was on the second floor behind the dormitory. He quietly ran over there, hung a bedsheet and went downstairs. Before the entertainment reporters at the main entrance could react, he ran to the parking lot and drove straight to Zhou Jingxi's house. He called Fan Lingshan and went to Lilai County. He didn't know where else to go, so he decided to go back to his hometown. It had been a few days since he recognized Fan Lingshan as his sister. Now that he was done with his business, it was time to bring her back to his hometown. Qin Guang had already told his parents about this, and Qin Guoli and Feng Rong agreed without hesitation. Lingshan's mother had passed away, and the relatives of the Fan family were all like that. Lingshan's father couldn't protect her, and Fan Lingshan wasn't related to the Fan family at all. If she continued to stay in the Fan family, it would be like throwing a little lamb into a pack of wolves. Unfortunately, no one knew where Lingshan's mother's maiden home was, and there was no place for her to stay. Fan Lingshan was now a complete orphan. Although she was strong enough, who would like to live alone in the world? Now Lingshan's mother's kidney was still in Feng Rong's body. No matter how much money was given, the Qin family would remember the kindness. Qin Guang remembered the kindness, and so did Qin Guoli and Feng Rong. Feng Rong in particular had always been thinking about her daughter who had passed away. Now, she felt that she had the responsibility and obligation to take over the position of Lingshan's mother and acknowledge this daughter. No one had any qualms about it. Therefore, when Qin Guang received Fan Lingshan's call, Qin Guoli and Feng Rong were immediately distressed after hearing about Fan Lingshan's situation. They repeatedly urged Qin Guang to bring Lingshan home as soon as possible. Therefore, Qin Guang wasn't casually acknowledging Fan Lingshan as his sister. He sincerely wanted to find a new home for Fan Lingshan. In the future, everyone would be a real family and not some random god-sister. Along the way, Qin Guang excitedly told Fan Lingshan about his family. He didn't talk about his parents but mainly talked about his uncle, aunt and so on. Unlike Fan Lingshan's relatives, Qin Guang's parents and siblings had helped each other all these years, and their relationship was very good. In the early years when Qin Guang's family was prosperous, it was Qin Guoli who helped everyone, and the siblings of the Qin family and the Feng family could be considered a local prominent family. In the past year, Qin Guang's family had fallen, and most of the medical expenses were supported by his uncles and aunts. Fan Lingshan listened enviously. "Brother, your family is so nice." Qin Guang laughed and patted Fan Lingshan's leg. "What do you mean my family is nice? They're also your family. You'll know when you get back. A whole family is waiting to see you." Fan Lingshan wasn't as excited as he imagined, and he didn't know what she was worried about. Qin Guang thought she was shy and introverted, so he said, "Lingshan, remember this. As your brother, I'll tell you again. You're my biological sister and your people are also my family. You have 4 million. Let's not talk about going to university. When you get married in the future, I'll make the decision. I'll buy you a house and a car. Actually, I should have a sister, but she passed away early. My parents have always wanted a daughter. I won't say anything and I'll treat you as a family in the future. You're a family with us. Qin Guang wasn't afraid of being mushy when he said this, because he really thought so in his heart. He didn't have a biological sister, but the feeling of having a biological sister was really good. Fan Lingshan was a little touched and her eyes turned red. And, brother. That's right. Qin Guang's eyes narrowed into slits as he smiled and continued, let me tell you a secret. When I left school in the morning, I told my dad that all our relatives will be here when we reach our hometown. Everyone wants to see you. Ah. So many people. Fan Lingshan's eyes were no longer red, but her face turned red again. Of course, this is a big matter. Chapter 447. At this time, Lilai County was also very lively. The Qin family, which had been down and out for more than a year, had finally swept away their bad luck in the past 2 months. Qin Guoli had been delaying the payment. Although he felt comfortable, he couldn't help but feel restrained. Recently, because of Su Lijing, Qin Guoli simply sold the money. Although it hurt, he was in a good mood. He was free from debt, which was also very comfortable. Now the family was going to suck up to another person, which was double happiness. Although she was his daughter, Qin Guoli and Feng Rong had met Fan Lingshan many times in the hospital. They knew about her background and liked this well-behaved girl from the bottom of their hearts. In addition, there was another happiness, but Qin Guoli didn't tell Qin Guang. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that Zhu Xian and his son firmly disagreed. According to Qin Guang's original intention when he gave the money to Zhu Xian, he didn't think about the interest. He didn't even think about asking Zhu Xian for it. This was his kind intention. Zhu Xian pinched his nose and accepted it, but when he thought about it later, he felt like there was a fishbone stuck in his throat and it was hard to swallow. Ever since we were young, I've always been the one to protect you. Suddenly, I owe you so much. My heart feels so bad. Although our relationship is better than blood brothers, I can't take advantage of you like this. After getting to know Lu Fei, Zhong Bai, and the others, not only did the new production line start, but there were also a lot of orders. The 2 lines were too busy. The factory's efficiency was getting better day by day. Not long after, it was on the 3rd line, but it was still too busy. Zhu Xifa's heart was even more unbearable. His father also found out that there was an extra 10 million in the factory and forced Zhu Xifa to ask where the money came from. Old Zhu told him everything, and then old Zhu slammed the table in front of Zhu Xifa. You can't do business like this, and you can't be like this as a person. Qin Guang found the order for you, Qin Guang helped you settle the loan, and Qin Guang lent you 10 million in cash without interest. How can you be so shameless as to accept all of it? No matter what you think, I, old Zhu, can't afford to lose my face in the county. People always point at my back and say that I've taken advantage of old Qin. Zhu Xifa had a bitter face. It's not that I don't want to give him shares, but he doesn't want it. Are you stupid? Can't give it to his father if he doesn't want it? Thus, old man Zhu and Zhu Xifa went to Qin Guoli's house. The father and son forced Qin Guoli to sign the contract and transfer 40% of the printing factory's shares to Qin Guoli. At first, the father and son of the Zhu family even wanted to transfer 50%, but Qin Guoli also refused to do so. In fact, people in Qin Guoli's small circle were like this. They valued loyalty very much. It didn't matter how much money they made, but they couldn't lack the word loyalty when they conducted themselves in society. So when the Qin family's hot pot restaurant got into trouble, the huge hole caused by the poisoning of so many people was forcefully covered. Even the court had their own people, or else they wouldn't have kept on refusing to pay the debt. If it wasn't for Su Lijing's direct pressure from the city, Qin Guoli wouldn't have paid the money because he didn't want to cause trouble for his old buddies in the court. If he wanted to mess with the Qin family, he had to ask old Zhu, old Zhou, old Tang, and old Luo. Now, Qin Guoli was still working at old Zhou's hot pot restaurant, but on the other hand, he had become a major shareholder of the Zhu family's printing factory. The Qin family had prospered again. Now that the Qin family was going to recognize their daughter, this was considered a major event in the small circle of Lilai County. Qin Guang was still thinking about his relatives, but he didn't know that his father's friends had already set up nearly 100 tables at noon. Usually, a family's wedding banquet wasn't this lively. At 10:30 in the afternoon, Qin Guang and Fan Lingshan finally arrived at the county town. They didn't go home but went straight to the restaurant. Looking at the large crowd waiting at the entrance of the restaurant, Qin Guang and Fan Lingshan introduced them one by one. You've met my parents before. This is second uncle, this is third aunt, this is Uncle Zhou, this is Uncle Zhu, this is my best friend Zhu Jifa, and this is my classmate Deng Haiyang. Fan Lingshan's heart was so warm that it felt like she had crawled into a hot bed in the 12th month of the lunar calendar. Her tears immediately flowed. What a poor child. Feng Rong, Qin Guang's aunts and other female elders all sobbed. After a while, Fan Lingshan was pulled away by Feng Rong and a group of female comrades to change clothes. It was said that these aunts had bought a set of clothes for Fan Lingshan. It was estimated that after she tried on each set, she would be able to make it in time for supper. As for Qin Guang, he was quietly pulled aside by Qin Guoli. He had no choice but to do so. In just a few minutes of meeting, at least 100 people came up to ask Qin Guang and Jin Shuiwei what was going on. Logically speaking, these relatives and friends in the county town shouldn't be so concerned about celebrity gossip, especially these elders. They were too busy with the bloody games at the mahjong table all day long. Qin Guoli and Feng Rong had heard his explanation and were well aware of it, but the others didn't. Dad, what do you think I should do? Everyone is asking me now. I have nowhere to hide. Why do you think these people are all so gossipy? Qin Guoli chuckled. Of course, my son is very capable. He can even chase after a celebrity. Why do I feel that your pronunciation of the word capable is not quite right? Qin Guoli patted Qin Guang's shoulder. I called Dr. Tang a few days ago. She said that you have recovered from your illness. You are very capable. All right. After dinner, I'll take Lingshan around the county town and then go back to Wujing. I'm having a headache now. Even if I escaped from school today, I won't be able to live in peace in my hometown. The world is so big and there's nowhere to hide. You can do whatever you want. Lingshan is really pretty. I like her just by looking at her. You're a smart kid. Why did you think of taking her as your sister and bringing her back? Picking up a daughter for free, and I don't even need to raise her. I, Qin Guoli, have struck it rich. Qin Guoli brought up Fan Lingshan again. I say, kid, don't tell me you have some ulterior motives. That Officer Wu who took you as her sister, I always feel that there's something wrong with the way she looks at you. And that classmate of yours, Sun Xiaoxuan. The more people there are, the better. Oh, and Jiang Yage. Qin Guoli brought up a few names in a row. Qin Guang's face darkened. What are you talking about? Qin Guoli continued. Oh, isn't your cousin studying in Germany? What did he say in the WeChat group yesterday? Sister Qiong? If you have a younger sister, you will hate your younger sister. If you don't have a younger sister, you will hate your younger sister. He even said that he had already registered you at the German orthopedics department. I talked to him for a long time, saying that the person's name is Lingshan, not Qiong, but he still insisted on it. Is there an allusion to the name Sister Qiong? F***CK. You're my biological father. My cousin is also my biological cousin. We're really a family made in heaven. Qin Guang ground his teeth so hard that they creaked. Don't come back to China if you have the guts, or else I'll beat you up so badly that even my cousin won't be able to recognize you. Alright, anyway, I always feel that you're a womanizer. Although I'm very happy and proud to see my son so popular, you have to take it easy. Alright, I'll be careful. Qin Guang knew that he and his father couldn't explain, and it would only make things worse. Qin Guoli patted Qin Guang's shoulder again. Actually, I don't really care. You're not a child anymore anyway, so I can't control you. Children and grandchildren have their own blessings. I can understand that there are many people who like you. After all, when I was young, I was a famous handsome man in the county. The number of people chasing after me added up could form a line from the street to the end of East Street. Qin Guang, biological father. It's really my biological father. After dealing with his father, he still had to go back to see the others. As expected, they all rushed up to him one by one, either praising or asking questions. Little Guang, is the matter between you and Jin Shuiwei true? I heard that celebrities have quite a temper. Are you getting along well with her? Brother Guang, Brother Shuiwei, can you help me get an autograph from Sister Shuiwei? Qin Guang was put in a difficult situation. It was Qin Guoli who saw that he was about to have a headache and hurriedly rushed up and shouted, You elders better restrain yourselves. This matter is not even confirmed yet. What kind of status does she have? Why are we making such a big fuss over here? If this spreads to the ears of others, they'll think that our Qin family is rushing to get close to her. Young people shouldn't ask so much. If it's really like this, it'll be ruined if we keep publicizing it. With Qin Guoli's outburst, Qin Guang was finally relieved. Zhou Xian and his high school classmates were much easier to deal with. Qin Guang only laughed it off for a while. In any case, he would never tell the truth even if he was beaten to death. Naturally, it was a good lunch, but there was an unexpected surprise. Halfway through the meal, someone made a fuss, saying that Qin Guang was quite popular on the internet and was called something like an almighty Superman. They asked him to go up and perform for everyone. Qin Guang didn't think too much about it. He picked up the pencil and went up the stage, causing a wave of cheers. In the end, not long after, he discovered that the god statue's faith value increased again. At this rate, it would increase by several tens of faith value a day. Including the 3 units of production earned from Go Wei and the others in the morning, in just one day, the GDP of the most useless god statue of sharpening pencils actually increased by 7 times. It reached 70 units in a day. Alright, this still couldn't compare to the god statue of Alto's 20,000 production per day. But an increase was a good thing, and he could see the dawn of victory. Moreover, this little increase in faith value was not the biggest gain. Instead, he discovered a trick. The most useless god statue of sharpening pencils had actually become the best entry point for him to increase his current faith value production. That's right, the lower the starting point, the greater the potential. He also discovered a problem. Why did the faith value of sharpening pencils increase so quickly? This was because the skill was really good. It was amazing, and no one deliberately practiced it. Even if others practiced it, they wouldn't be able to reach this level. Others only needed to see it once to understand in their hearts that he was the strongest in history. There was no suspense. Chapter 448. However, the piano was different. It was said that there was no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. When it came to piano playing skills, other people's views were never objective. Subjective consciousness dominated, and there had always been arguments about who was the best. It was the same logic as writing an essay. Through several videos and live broadcasts, many people had already admired his skills. During the period when he was playing, people who watched his live broadcasts or videos might think that he was the best in history and that he had successfully built a statue of a god. However, after a while they would gradually forget about him. However, it was difficult for people to worship him like they worshipped the god of racing. After all, the god of racing's racing record was there for all to see. No one could surpass it. As for piano skills, there was no quantitative assessment standard. Looking at the countless people applauding and joining in the fun, Qin Guang made up his mind. Before he built a statue of a god, he would focus on sharpening pencils. Someday, if he had the opportunity to go on TV or participate in a talent show, he might as well try it live on TV. Originally, he planned to keep Fan Lingshan in Lulai. However, although Fan Lingshan had recognized him as her family, they were still unfamiliar with each other. If Qin Guang wanted to leave, how could she be willing to stay in Lulai? Her reason was also very good. She wanted to restudy for her 3rd year of high school and take the college entrance examination at Gokyo University next year. She had already enrolled in a cram school in Wujing, so she had to go back to class. Our high school is also very good. When I was studying at this school, I easily got in, said Qin Guang. Fan Lingshan firmly refused. Teacher Zhou said that her uncle teaches at 7th high school. When school starts, I can go to 7th high school to listen in. You win. 7th high school is very strong. Qin Guang burst into tears. My good sister, why don't you understand your brother's thoughts? In fact, I just want you to stay at home so that I can go back and spend time with Teacher Zhou. No, I must rent the room opposite Teacher Zhuo's door and let Lingshan live there. That way I can steal her scent at night. Alright, let's go back together. Qin Guang had no choice but to accept his fate. After waving goodbye to his parents, relatives and friends, Qin Guang started the car and drove out. When he passed by a building, he stopped and pointed to the hot pot restaurant on the 2nd floor, saying, Lingshan, this restaurant used to be called Guoguang Bang Bang Xiang. It's our family's hot pot city. Then let's go and take a look. No, this shop belongs to someone else now. I just thought of some unhappy things. Actually, I just don't want Dad to work so hard anymore. Otherwise, I would have bought it back. It had been a year since the incident. Whether it was Qin Guang, Qin Guoli, or even the local police officers in Lulai County, they still had no clue about the food poisoning case. Everyone knew that Qingguoli was reliable and it was impossible for there to be any problems with the ingredients. It was a case of food poisoning. Even if Yuan Fong did not look at it, there must be something fishy about it. How could he handle it? He could not catch the culprit. The incident happened in his own hot pot restaurant, and the signs of poisoning were so similar to food poisoning. Other than the Qin family taking the blame themselves, there was nothing they could do. Brother, don't be sad. Heaven's net has a long way to go. The truth will come to light sooner or later, Fan Lingshan comforted him. Qin Guang nodded. Of course, I'm not in a hurry. I don't really need that money now. I'm just a little unhappy thinking about how my family was tricked so badly for no reason. His confidence was not without reason. Now that the heavenly Holy Grail had been upgraded to the second level, there was still a long way to go. When the old man completed the 3,000 worlds and became the true master of the Holy Grail, a godlike existence, he could dig you out with just a thought, okay? It's never too late for a villain to take revenge. I, Master Guang, am more vengeful than a villain. Don't let me catch you. When he returned to Wujing, it was really a coincidence. The tenant of the house opposite Zhujiangxi's was just about to leave, and the landlord brought an agent over to look at the house. Qin Guang decided to rent it on the spot. Firstly, he would definitely not be able to return to school in the near future. Secondly, of course, he wanted Lingshan to stay with him. At night, he could go knock on Zhujiangxi's door. That's good too. Qin Guang, you can stay opposite the house alone. Lingshan and I will stay together. You don't have to go out to eat. Zhujiangxi happily made the decision. Huh. Qin Guang was dumbfounded. After so long, it still didn't work out. This was different from what he wanted. Suddenly moving to a new house and renting someone else's house at that, there was naturally a lot of work to do. Qin Guang did not have much experience in this aspect. After helping out for half a day, he kicked Zhujiangxi and Fan Lingshan into the internet cafe in the school square. Great, the two of you are full of energy. I'm happy to be a hands-off boss. Qin Guang happily entered the internet cafe. He was a frequent visitor here. He and Wenwen had stirred up a lot of bloodshed here for a long time. When Wu Tong got into trouble, Sun Xiaoxuan and the rest of the class had to hide in this place. But this time, as soon as he entered the door, he realized something was wrong. Look, what did I see? It was a picture of the old man sitting on a booth in the internet cafe, rubbing his sword tower. *CK. He did not know which wicked grandson took this picture. At that time, he had not obtained the Holy Grail yet. He was a proper burden. He took a picture of the wicked grandson from the side. He was busy working while sweating profusely, and this wicked grandson even took a picture of his computer screen. 0 kills, 33 deaths, 0 assists. I was King endorsed. So be it. Why did you have to post my terrible battle record? Aren't you trying to embarrass this old man by doing this? You guys didn't take pictures of the few times I became a god? The caption below said, Shuriwei Goddess's boyfriend Qin Guang is a platinum member of the internet cafe. Come and play games with the goddess's boyfriend. Apply for a membership card now. 20% off. Get drinks. Brother Qin Guang. The staff recognized him at a glance. Qin Guang's face darkened. He pointed at the poster that took up almost half the wall. What's going on? Seeing that Qin Guang's expression didn't look good, the manager was terrified. He was afraid that Qin Guang would call the female Tyrannosaurus Wenwen over again. He broke out in a cold sweat. Boss asked me to do this. Brother Qin Guang, I'm really sorry. We all thought you wouldn't come again. This is really... I'll call the boss over immediately. I can't take the blame for this. In less than 30 seconds, the boss, who was sitting in his booth playing with others, ran over. Brother Guang, look at what I've done. If you have any complaints, I'll tear it down immediately. I didn't tell you, so I violated your portrait rights. I did something stupid. I was wrong. Please be magnanimous and let me go. Considering that you and Miss Wen have smashed our door so many times over the years. *CK. 0 kills, 33 deaths and 0 assists. I can't take it. This game is a stain on my life. *CK, why did you guys only take this game? Oh. Look, we've won 38, 44. I've taken 33 out of 38 kills by myself. No, we can't be friends anymore. There's no place for you in the internet cafe world anymore. I have 99 ways to destroy your internet cafe. The boss and the staff were stunned. You don't care about the image rights, but the 0 kills, 33 deaths and 0 assists. Don't. Brother, I was wrong. The owner of the internet cafe had also watched the live broadcast of the public trial. Someone who could defeat Su Lijing in front of the whole nation had 99 ways to deal with the owner of the internet cafe. You can't blame me for this. I don't have any other suitable photos. These photos weren't taken by me. They were taken by him. The boss decisively betrayed the staff. The staff had a long face. Boss, you can't be like this. You can't blame me for this. Brother Guang, you were too focused on your game. You don't know how lively the internet cafe was when you got those numbers. I just took a photo and used it. Qin Guang's face darkened. A stain on his life. This was definitely a huge stain on his life. An unforgivable stain on his life. He vaguely remembered that he was in a terrible fix at that time. He had sunk into desolation and was unable to extricate himself. If he had known that there were so many scumbags standing behind him to watch the fun, he would have definitely thrown the machine down and run away. No, I have to redeem my reputation. Otherwise, this stain will grow all the way to my god statue. He thought of the free faith points he got when he performed his pencil sharpening skills in the hall of his hometown. An idea popped into his mind. Anyway, he was famous now. Why was he still hiding it? Why not just do a live stream in the internet cafe? I'm also streaming on the live streaming platform. I'm now the first godly player in the Chinese server. If the young lads in this internet cafe and the viewers watching the live stream can witness me surging to the top 10 in the Southeast Asia server, the European server, and the American server at the same time, I'll be able to gather a whole bunch of fanatical fans if they see me surging to the top 10 in the Southeast Asia server, the European server, and the American server. There were more people who liked games than racing. The most important thing was that the viewers who liked games were more likely to get carried away. There was a higher chance of producing fanatical fans like Lu Fei. Any retired professional gamer or second-tier streamer could become a fanatic fan demon. Those female fans would even sacrifice themselves. How fanatical. With the old man's invincible skills, it wouldn't be hard for him to get some die-hard fans, right? One Lu Fei was worth 20 faith points. If he could get 10,000 fanatical fans through live streaming, he would immediately earn 200,000 faith points a day. There were also those ordinary fans, passers-by fans, and leftover fans with a hint of black in the middle and a hint of black in the middle. The GDP of this statue of God was going to skyrocket. There was no need to explain how it would beat Otto's God statue. Although it might be difficult, how would he know if he didn't try? Forget it, the old man was going to be rich. I've decided. I'll stay in this internet cafe to get more points. Live stream to get more points. The hundreds of people in this internet cafe were the first batch of fans of Master Guang. Once my god statue is built, none of you are allowed to leave without at least 17 to 18 faith points. Even if you beat them up, you will get more than 10 faith points. Do you see my fist that's as big as a clay pot? Don't you worship me? First ask if my fist agrees or not. The other thing was the live stream viewers. Their personal goals were as follows. When the god statue is built, there will be at least 5,000 fanatical fans. 100,000 normal fans. It was decided just like that. Alright, he was actually a little sad. If he had known this earlier, he would have joined the League of Legends Cup. Although he was a relic of Sword Tower and a super loyal fan, he couldn't deny the fact that there were more League of Legends players. Forget it, let's not think about this for now. I'll focus on what's in front of me first. Once I've decided, I'll start. Chapter 449. At this time, the hegemon of picking up girls, the model of a loser's counterattack, Lord Qin Guang's presence in the internet cafe was gradually becoming a hot topic. No one cared about who Qin Guang was, but the identity of Jin Shiyue's boyfriend was a big deal. Many people stood up from their seats and craned their necks to look at the door in the short amount of time he had taken to clean up the internet bar's owner and young man. Those who were in the game could only look. After all, the sky could collapse and the earth could split, but they couldn't just stand by in a group battle. But those who were in the middle of matchmaking or doing something else simply stood up and surrounded the door. You're Qin Guang. A young man who didn't know how powerful he was came over angrily. F***CKU. I've been a loyal fan for 10 years. I grew up watching the two goddesses dramas. You've tarnished my goddess. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? How are you worthy of Jin Shiyue? I'll beat you up. The internet cafe owner was shocked. Something bad was going to happen. Qin Guang looked up at him. I'm Qin Guang. What are you going to do about it? Come on, don't just talk. Let's have a spar. If someone else had a better attitude, he might have had the heart to explain or deny it. But wasn't his mouth too cheap? What do you mean I've tarnished Xianxia? What do you mean I'm not worthy of her? I can say such things myself. I can even joke around with people who are close to me. I'm not even close to you and you're already scolding me the moment we meet. Isn't that too much? Qin Guang only needed 5 seconds and a can of cola on the counter to deal with Xianxia's irrational fan. Of course, he didn't bribe him with a can of cola. Instead, he squeezed the can of cola in his hand. 5 seconds later, the unopened can of cola was crushed by his monstrous strength. Qin Guang's left and right-hand fanatic, who was scolding Qin Guang with all his might and was about to call for people to beat him up, was stunned. The owner of the internet cafe, who was about to call for help, was also dumbfounded. Qin Guang gently placed his left hand on the solid wood counter of the internet cafe and looked at him from the corner of his eyes. I've always had a principle. When I can use my hands, I won't use my mouth. If you're interested, go ask around about me, Qin Guang's reputation in Wenqing town. Have Brother Scar and Glasses Wu come out yet? How have you been lately? The two of them definitely know what kind of person I am. They just came out a few days ago. Speaking of which, it's strange. Everyone's guessing how they got in. The two of them had only been out for 2 days when they teamed up and went out of town. They said they didn't want to mingle in the underworld anymore and ran off to work for someone. Qin Guang grinned. It doesn't matter if I tell you. I was the one who did it. More than a dozen people wanted to ambush me after receiving money. I knocked them all down on the ground and then I sent them to the police station. It's that simple. So your fists are that hard. You defeated more than a dozen people by yourself. Use your brain and think about it. If it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to bring trouble to Xianxia, I'd break your legs right now and throw you into the police station. Since you're already causing trouble for me, I won't deny it. So what if I hit on your goddess? You don't like it? Do you think I'm someone you can trample on? Oh right, it's you, the one who took a picture of me with your phone. Post my words online. Qin Guang pointed at a person who was hiding behind the crowd and secretly taking a picture of him with his phone. That person wanted to hide immediately, but Qin Guang went up and grabbed him. Stop hiding. I purposely let you take a picture of me. He didn't want to be famous before. He didn't want to be associated with Xianxia and Jiang Yage's name because he was afraid that these things would annoy him. Today he had been hiding since early in the morning. Now that it was almost evening, he still couldn't settle down. He was extremely annoyed. Can't we just live happily? Isn't it just Xianxia's boyfriend? Everyone comes up to me and tries to take advantage of me. Can't you be a little more reasonable? Let's not talk about whether it's true or not. Even if it's true, you can't be like this. Even a clay figurine has its limits. This is too much. If it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, it can't be avoided. Qin Guang was also furious. Don't you all hate me for hitting on Xianxia? Don't you all think that I'm not worthy of her? Although there's nothing between us, I have no choice but to bite the bullet and go against her. Previously, he had been unwilling to admit to it. On one hand, he really didn't want to be involved in the lives of celebrities. On the other hand, he felt that no matter what Xianxia said, it would be convenient for her to renege on the debt. But if he admitted to it, then the matter would be completely real. But he couldn't handle Xianxia's second confession on Weibo. It was another affectionate show of affection early in the morning. I'm trying my best to act shamelessly to suppress the matter and let your fans forget about it. But you keep jumping into the fire pit step by step. Our thoughts aren't the same. Now that I can't continue acting shamelessly, I might as well admit to it. I'll see what you all want. If you have the ability, come and tear me apart. Come, point the camera at me. I'll say a few words later. Help me post it online. Qin Guang patted the guy who was taking a picture secretly. His legs were trembling from the nervousness. The guy slowly reacted. Could it be that this person wants to use me to do an online press conference? That's great. I'll be able to bask in his glory and become famous. Oh wait, let me make a call first. After all, this wasn't just his own matter. After making this decision, he had to inform Xianxia again and see what she had to say. In front of everyone, the call went through. There were people coming and going on Xianxia's side. Seemed to be very lively. It sounded like she was on a film set. Xianxia. Qin Guang opened his mouth and planned to get straight to the point. Still calling me by my name. Call me Shirue. I'm your girlfriend now. Jean Shirue chuckled on the phone. Although the people in the internet cafe were shocked by the coke explosion, they couldn't hold back their curiosity. All of them moved their heads very close. With Qin Guang's neck as the center, they almost formed a mountain of human heads. This time, when Jean Shirue's extremely coquettish voice came through the phone, the people who were eavesdropping at the side all felt their legs go soft. Hey. Qin Guang was dumbfounded. I'm mentally prepared for whatever you say on Weibo, but this is a private call. What's the matter? I'm doing my makeup here. There's still a night scene later. Jean Shirue said again. Qin Guang made up his mind. There were a lot of people on her side. She purposely acted like this for the people around her to see. There must be a way to communicate when dating. Then I'll say it directly. My head is about to explode because of people messing with me all day long. I plan to say something online. It's the same as admitting to this matter. It'll make others give up and leave. You don't have any connections on your side, right? I was planning to call you after I'm done with work tonight. I've already confessed to you so many times. Can't you give me a reply? My group of girlfriends are saying that I've confessed to you again and again, but I don't care about it. In fact, I also know that this matter will certainly cause you trouble, but I believe that you will certainly be able to get through it. Don't worry about bringing shame to me. Just act according to your own temperament. To put it bluntly, if it's really your scandal, others may not dare to report it for the sake of me and Solomon. Hey, my makeup is done. I've gone to the camera. Let's talk later. I really miss you. Jean Shirue was a gentle woman. She rarely said such words. But this time no one knew what her motive was. She even said that the media didn't dare to report her scandal. After hanging up the phone, not only was Qin Guang in a daze, but several people who were eavesdropping on the phone were also shocked. This was not the same as the Jean Shirue they had always known, but the voice couldn't be fake. People all knew that Jean Shirue was gentle and considerate, but they didn't know that there was such a domineering side behind her. In fact, no one knew, and Jiang Yage didn't expect, that Jean Shirue's rare domineering was because she didn't want Qin Guang to take the initiative to clarify the relationship on Weibo because he was troubled. She just wanted Qin Guang to pinch his nose and acquiesce. Even if she could only be a lover on Weibo and on the phone with him, even if she could only hide behind Jiang Yage, not dare to approach him and could only watch Jiang Yage seduce or flirt with him, Jean Shirue didn't want to lose this temporary and illusory happiness. Hey buddy, let's shoot. If it's good, I'll forward it to you with the account of Almighty Superman. I'll make sure you become famous. Don't thank me. Call me Lei Feng. Qin Guang also steeled his heart. Soldiers come, generals will fight. Since Jean Shirue had already said this, he couldn't care less about what would happen in the future. But now he had to take responsibility. When the guy heard that there was actually an Almighty Superman forwarding it, he also became excited as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Okay. By the way, does your phone have a beautifying function? Make me look more handsome. Brother, I've already stepped into the entertainment industry, so I have to pay attention to my image. I can't let my family's Shirue lose face. Qin Guang said as he fiddled with the hair on his head. Hello everyone, my name is Qin Guang, I'm an almighty Superman. I love life and I love Jean Shirue Ella. Wait a minute. In short, feelings are a matter between two people. It's actually quite personal. If I had a choice, I would also like to live my life with a lower profile. It's really troubling for me to become like this. So let me give you a simple explanation. Whether it's Shirue's fans or friends from the media, if you have anything you want to talk to me about, I'll be happy to do so. You can leave a message on my Weibo or you can join my fan club. Oh, I haven't created a fan club yet. I'll announce it later. Everything can be discussed, but I hope that you won't come and disturb my private life. After all, things have already come to this. If you stop dating because of your fans' objections, then wouldn't all celebrities have to spend the rest of their lives alone? If you really like my family's Shirue, then please calm down and think about it. Do you like Shirue's songs or Shirue's movies or dramas? I firmly believe that it's not just her face that can make you like Shirue. There are many beautiful people in the world, but why is there only one Shirue? Everyone, please focus your attention on Shirue's works again. There has never been an artist or a celebrity who can achieve results purely based on their looks. I was lucky enough to receive Shirue's favor, but this has already caused her a lot of trouble. As her man, I really don't want to bring her even more trouble. Actually, I don't have a very good temper. I believe that many people have seen me fly into a rage on television. But I have no choice. As a man, I have to bear the consequences. Chapter 450. Qin Guang's words were not only for the audience and readers on Weibo to hear, but also for the fans around him to hear. After saying that, he crushed a can of cola in front of the camera. Perhaps after this video was uploaded, there would still be some fanatical fans who would not take it seriously. Then Qin Guang could only apologize. I've already said the ugly words first. I've already let you know how powerful I am. Public figures are also people and they have their own temper. If you still want to provoke me, you should first consider whether your head is harder or the cola. It was also because Qin Guang did not have a manager. If he had a public relations team, they would definitely be able to suggest a better way to deal with it. But now he planned to act according to his own temper. The carrot and the stick had been thrown out. Whether you want to take it or not, you should think clearly. After the video was uploaded, Qin Guang immediately reposted it with the nickname Almighty Superman. The effect of this skin grinding is really good. I feel like Takashi Kaneshiro. The people in the internet cafe also stopped making a fuss. What a joke. Weren't the 2 crushed cans of cola on the ground scary? Qin Guang also experienced Wenwen's comfort. With strength, that's how confident you are. Then he told the owner of the internet cafe that he planned to do a live broadcast in his internet cafe to increase his points. You want to do a live broadcast of getting first place in the Dota 4 server? The owner of the internet cafe and the people who were watching from the side all widened their eyes, looking at him as if he was an idiot. From time to time they would turn their heads to look at the bloody record of 0 kills, 33 deaths and 0 assists on the wall. There were only 3 words in everyone's mind. No, someone remembered that Almighty Superman had posted a few videos on Weibo. In those videos, it was indeed him showing off his skills, showing off his opponents to the extreme. There was no one else who could turn the ladder competition into a highlight reel. His score on the ladder of the national server was indeed 10,000 points. But this was not logical, it was not scientific. Was this the same person who had 0 kills and 33 deaths? He must have found a substitute to play, definitely. So the question was, which beast of a substitute player was able to get 10,000 points? If there was really someone who could play 10,000 points, then this brother would not need to play. It would be better to directly participate in the International Invitational Tournament and fight for the championship. Even if it wasn't a sure win, the team that Godwan Janwei joined would definitely be a strong team among strong teams. It would be a solid favorite to win. Moreover, up until now he was the only god in the national server. The highest among the others didn't even reach 9,000 points. The gap was too big. A substitute player could help him get there, but he couldn't do it himself? Or could it be that he found an actor along the way? That was bullsh*t. One had to know that when he used this account to increase his points, almost every match had at least 4,000 to 5,000 spectators. Up until now, many dedicated websites had video archives of his matches along the way. Those matches corresponded to his climb up the ladder step by step. None of them could be faked or deceived. We all understood the logic, but we couldn't understand it at all. Actually, Qin Guang had slaughtered everyone in this internet cafe many times before. However, the person who had been watching him from behind was coincidentally not here today. The internet cafe manager also didn't have the time to watch every time. Of those present today, no one had seen Qin Guang's live performance. What's with your expressions? What kind of attitude is this? Are you looking down on me? Qin Guang glared and waved his phone. Didn't you see my Weibo, the omnipotent Superman? Bro, I live streamed to increase my points, how could it be fake? Although that's what you say, you can't brag and be unreasonable just because you're Jin Shiryu's boyfriend. This is also you. The #1 god in the national server is also you. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, we don't believe it. The internet cafe owner gritted his teeth and said heavily, even if you don't let me use your portrait, I can't accept your bragging. One must have principles. One can't bow down for 5 buckets of rice. Boss, you're so righteous. I'm a fan of such a boss. That's right. You can't go against your conscience to earn money. I support the boss. I don't believe it either. Just because of what you said, I'll top up 1,000 as a sign of respect. I'll stay at your place for the next 2 months. Qin Guang's face darkened again. The old man wanted to develop them into his fanatical fans, but their attitudes made the old man very disappointed. Alright, I admit that I did the 0 kills and 33 deaths. But don't you understand the principle of, a scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes? Qin Guang said, unwilling to give up. As a witness of the 33 deaths case, the internet cafe owner said, Brother Guang, you might not be able to look at me with new eyes. You have to dig your eyes out to see if you can believe it. The contrast between you and before is too big. As a professional League of Legends player, although I don't really understand Dota Tower, I really feel that you must have found a lot of experts to play on your behalf to achieve this result. Qin Guang was furious. Since it was so difficult to erect a Dota Tower god statue, there must be many people who thought like these bastards. I don't believe it today. I'll start a live stream to increase my points. If you have the guts, don't leave. He didn't say the other half of the hidden meaning. I'll let you all become my faith. Alright, not only will I not leave, but I'll also sync your game to that big color TV and do a live stream for everyone to watch. How about that? That's a big TV for S-League and Dota International Invitational Tournament. The internet cafe owner pointed at the 70-inch super large color TV hanging in the middle of the hall. Alright. Qin Guang agreed in one breath. The live stream platform didn't consider anything else. Qin Guang called Zhong Bai to contact his friend Little Kong. If others wanted to start a live stream, it would take at least a day or two to verify their ID and account registration. However, the boss of Bamboo Livestream personally handled the matter and settled the livestream within 10 minutes. Then, under the enthusiastic guidance of the internet cafe owner, Qin Guang set up the livestream, logged into the game and was ready to start work. The name of the livestream was also exceptionally domineering. Number 1, 10,000 points in the national server, all-around Superman livestream breaking 10,000 points in all 4 servers. Little Tsong was also very helpful. At that time he put it on the homepage of Bamboo Livestream to promote it. Zhong Bai's reputation was very useful. The last time when he streamed the piano performance also made Bamboo Livestream's popularity skyrocket. It was quite a pleasant collaboration. The game hadn't even started queuing yet, but the livestream room was flooded with people. 5 minutes later, the livestream's popularity exploded with 50,000 people. Bullet Screen 1, Brother 10,000 fans? In person. Bullet Screen 2, 10,000 Bullet Screen Guru is live streaming? Didn't many people say that they were playing on behalf of others? Previously they were all live streams to increase their points. This gimmick is ridiculous. Bullet Screen 3, Post Bar Guru 8,000 points, Bullet Screen Guru 10,000 points. Sure enough, Bullet Screen Guru is a little stronger. Bullet Screen 4. Upstairs, aren't you a Bullet Screen Guru yourself? Aren't you stupid? Bullet Screen 5. Go away, damn troll above. There's a rhythm everywhere, annoying dog. Bullet Screen 6. Light years is the unit of time. Bullet Screen 7. Gentle reminder from Bamboo Livestream. Enter eye protection mode to activate eye protection mode. Bullet Screen 8. Whoever can hit Tao Tai, I will recognize him as my father on the spot. Bullet Screen 9. My son is about to be born. My surname is Ma. Everyone help me think of a name. Bullet Screen 10. Maradona. Bullet Screen 11. Forcibly recognize him as your father. 6666666. Qin Guang was still debugging the game mouse and buttons. He accidentally cut to the bullet screen. Then he looked at the number of online viewers unhappily. Why are there only 50,000 people? This is completely not up to my expectations. Only 50,000 viewers. Where am I going to find 100,000 ordinary fans? In fact, in terms of popularity, the strongest livestream platform in the country should be Soy Milk Livestream. However, Qin Guang didn't know anyone there and it would take too much time to review it. Forget it. It would be stupid not to use his Weibo account for no reason. So he decisively opened his Weibo. Hello everyone, today's almighty Superman is still cute. I have improved the method of live streaming. Below is my Bamboo livestream. I welcome everyone to witness the miracle with me. If the number of viewers exceeds 500,000, there will be colorful photos. If the number exceeds 5 million, there will be a video link between me and my girlfriend Jean Shriwa. The people who were watching from the back were speechless. Damn it, is this how you use your girlfriend? Of course, Qin Guang was bragging. Even if he thought with his toes, he would know that it was impossible to reach 5 million viewers. Soy Milk livestream had more than 4 million viewers at most in the International Invitational Tournament. He was live streaming with people all the way and didn't increase the number of viewers. It would be a miracle if he could reach 5 million. Anyway, now that he had confirmed his identity as Jin Shiyue's boyfriend, he could also show off his unwarranted affection. It was also a response to her several confessions. It was better for a man to take the initiative. After posting on Weibo, Qin Guang returned to his livestream. He was overjoyed when he saw the number of viewers skyrocketing. It did not take long for it to exceed 300,000. Different from other zombie livestreams, Qin Guang's 300,000 viewers were all living people. The bullet screen was so densely packed that it was hard to see the screen clearly. However, Qin Guang didn't care about it at all. He queued up and went to work. At that moment, his stairway points in the Southeast Asian server had reached 9,500. It was not far from 10,000. The grandson behind him seemed to be a veteran player. F***CK. It's really 9,500 now. Don't mess around. Brother Guang, aren't you screwing with your teammates by opening such a high account? I pity his 4 teammates. The latter matches are based on the average score of both sides. He alone has 9,500 points. If he's matched with someone with 6,000 points, it means that he'll have to drag 4 teammates with 5,000 points to fight against 5 experts with 6,000 points. I don't care what you think. I bet that if Brother Guang wins this match, I'll give you 5,000 on my card, the owner of the internet cafe said darkly. In fact, he had his own plans. It was normal for Qin Guang to lose, but if he won, he would give him 5,000 on his card. In the future, this internet cafe would be his exclusive hideout. No, he couldn't say it in such a bad way. It would be his exclusive hideout. Jin Shiyue's boyfriend surfs the internet here every day. What a hot topic. F***CK. Shut your mouths. Qin Guang turned around and glared at them. It was time to choose someone. He would choose Carl first to calm himself down. Qin Guang was intensely preparing to increase his points. He didn't have time to read the comments. However, he didn't know that his repost and his own Weibo post had blown up the internet again. Chapter 451. That video was his first time replying to Jin Shiyue's love affair. He did it casually, but it caused an uproar on the internet. The die-hard fans of Almighty Superman felt that Almighty Bro was indeed Almighty Bro. Even a loser's counterattack could be described in such a domineering manner. Some female fans expressed their heartbreak. Almighty Bro was already taken and his competitor was still Jin Shiyue. They hoped that they could be lovers again in their next lives. If not, it would be nice to be a special friend in this life. They would definitely not go to Jin Shiyue's place to make a fuss. But most of them were doubting and slandering him. How can a loser like him be so arrogant? How can he be worthy of our Shiyue? Teske wearing such lousy clothes. What kind of lousy taste is he? How dare he be with our goddess? If I were you, I'd drown myself to death trying to pick up girls. You still have the cheek to ask me to think about it? Hanging out with a loser like you will only lower the level of our goddess. I just can't stand it when you pick up our goddess. So what? Everyone, quiet down and listen to what I have to say. This almighty Superman is a liar, a damned liar, a big liar. The naive Shiyue goddess must have been deceived by him. We must expose him. Think about it, isn't he just an internet celebrity? Who knows if his millions of fans are real or fake? Yes, you can sharpen pencils, race, play the piano and throw darts, but you're just an internet celebrity. What makes you worthy of Goddess Jean? I was originally a hater, but after reading what the previous poster said, I don't know why, but it seems like he knows a lot of things. Agreed +1. No matter how much he knows, I just can't get used to his arrogant attitude of lecturing others. That's right. Boycott this almighty scum. Let's go beat him up. Those who support me, raise your hands. Hey, raise your hands. Previous poster, you definitely haven't finished watching the video. Please watch the last part before you consider. Damn. He crushed cola with his bare hands. My mom told me to go do my homework. I'll go beat him up when I'm in high school and stronger. Unlike the fans, Jin Shiyue's circle of friends felt that Qin Guang's response was quite appropriate. He gave Jin Shiyue a proper reply and warned those entertainment paparazzi who didn't care about personal privacy. Especially that sentence. If they stopped dating because of the fans' objections, wouldn't all the celebrities have to spend the rest of their lives alone? Jin Shui's friends in the industry deeply felt the same way. It wasn't easy to be an artiste, and it was even more difficult to be a female artiste. Love was a basic human emotion. Who wouldn't be moved when they met someone they were fated to like? But even if they loved each other too fully, they wouldn't dare to date each other. Even if they did date each other, they would have to do it secretly. They were afraid that once it was exposed, it would be a devastating blow to their career. Jin Shui and Qin Guang's high-profile public display of affection made them green with envy, but they didn't dare to imitate it. At this time, Jin Shui was chatting with her close friends in the group. Shui's boyfriend is not bad. He's responsible. Although he's a little immature, he's not afraid of anything. This brother can really fight. He crushed cola with his bare hands. I just asked my retired bodyguard to try, but he said it's not easy to exert strength. It's too difficult. Jin Shui laughed and replied, I don't want him to be too mature. He's only 21. That's true. It's a relationship. It's fine as long as you like him. Jiang Yage, who was sitting next to Jin Shui, was green with envy. Sister Shui, I can't accept this. That's what I should be saying. Jin Shui turned around and smiled at Jiang Yage. It's not like you don't know that I'm putting on an act to trick them. I'm sacrificing a lot. Jiang Yage was happy again. Hehe, I know you're the best to me, Sister Shui. Sai, I haven't seen him in a long time. I really want to see him. You don't know how many times I've dreamed of him these past few days. How could I not know? Last night you were sleeping and squeezing my leg with all your might. You're screaming. Use strength. Use strength. Jiang Yage's face changed. Did I? Jin Shui played a recording. Qin Guang. Qin Guang. Use strength. Don't stop. Jiang Yage blushed and desperately tried to snatch the phone. At this moment, someone in the WeChat group sent a screenshot. It was Qin Guang's cute declaration on Weibo. The group of women, just a second ago he was still praising you. You're going too far by involving Jin Shui in order to gain popularity. What do you mean by video connection? Although Jin Shui is your girlfriend, she's not an ordinary girl. Do you know how long it takes for an artist like her to talk to her manager and sign a big contract if she wants to appear on a live broadcast platform? You're suddenly talking about video connection? Everyone started to worry. They didn't know if Jin Shui would be angry. Jin Shui and Jiang Yage were also stunned. Jiang Yage chuckled. Why is he doing a live broadcast again? He's finally enlightened. Does he want to be a celebrity? Sai, it's just that his acting skills are too crazy. When he's good, we were all shocked. When he's bad, it's simply devastating. The few hours we wasted previously almost made Big Beard Deng lose all his beard in anxiety. Jin Shui wasn't unhappy at all. Instead, she was secretly happy that she could help Qin Guang. She actually wanted to use her own Weibo to repost the video, but she felt that it wasn't appropriate. She was worried that it would make Jiang Yage suspicious. She didn't want her little happiness from enjoying a relationship on Weibo to hurt Jiang Yage. Deep in her heart, her willfulness was only at this level. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yage clapped her hands. I was worried that I couldn't see him. I sent him a bunch of messages on WeChat, but he didn't reply to me. Video connection after 5 million people. That's a good idea. Let's help him repost it. His words are like spilled water. He can't just go back on his word, right? Before she could finish speaking, Jiang Yage reposted the video using her own account. Then she urged Jin Shui to repost it too. That wasn't all. She even went to the WeChat group and said, everyone hurry and let my brother-in-law repost it. Let him surpass 5 million people. Since Jiang Yage was like this, Jin Shui also sent a smiley face. Everyone help him out. It's rare that he wants to do something seriously. The WeChat group that Jin Shui and Jiang Yage were in was a small circle of the top celebrities in the country. There were no managers or reporters in the group, only superstars. The left-handed and right-handed duo were among the top A-listers in the country. Ever since they debuted at the age of 10, they had never failed in any of their productions, be it in the ratings or box office. The albums that they released had never failed either. Even in the current downturn of the recording industry, their albums that were released once every 2 years easily sat firmly in the top 3 best-selling albums of the year. They were also a frequent guest on the top Chinese music chart. Their all-round development in film, television, and singing, coupled with their perfect artistic talent, excellent image and temperament, years of hard work and constantly releasing new works that caught people's eyes. Most importantly, they had a background that no one dared to offend. This allowed the 20-year-olds to stand at the top of the celebrity pyramid along with many of the older generation. Of course, the two of them were not considered juniors in the industry. After all, they debuted too early. Although they were young, they still had 10 years of experience. In the WeChat group, other than Jin Shirui and Zhang Yage, there were also 2 or 3 A-listers in the country. There were also about a dozen people who were on the same level as their left-handed and right-handed counterparts. As for the A-listers and B-listers who were below them, there were even more of them. As for those C-listers who had just starred in 1 or 2 popular dramas and gained some fame, they would not be able to enter unless they were recommended and recognized by everyone. Jin Shirui and Zhang Yage had never asked for help in this group before. With their status, there was no need for them to ask for help from others. But this time the situation was different. Zhang Yage spoke first and Jin Shirui nodded again. She wanted to create popularity for her boyfriend. It was not a formal matter, but it meant a lot to some people. There were many people in the group who wanted to do Jin Shirui a favor but could not find an entry point. Now she finally spoke. A minute later, A-lister and crosstalk actor Yu Yunfeng posted on Weibo. Sister Shirui's boyfriend, Brother Guang, is doing a live broadcast. Oh my god. This is amazing. I can't take it anymore. Oh my god. Invincible. Quite a lot. Brother Guang, did you beat someone up again? 2 minutes later, B-lister Lin Jia reposted Qin Guang's Weibo. 5 minutes later, A-lister and famous actor Hugu posted on Weibo. That's right, it was a direct post and not a repost. Shirui Goddess's boyfriend, Brother Qin Guang, is doing a live broadcast on Bamboo Dota. Fans who like this game, go and support him. Attached is the link. 6 minutes later, A-lister and Asian Heavenly King Li Junjie posted on Weibo. 4,000 points ladder contestants look up to the gods. China's first 10,000 points giant god, Shirui Goddess's boyfriend Almighty Qin Guang, is doing a live broadcast on Bamboo Dota. I'm going to write a song for him. 6 minutes later. In short, there were at least 30 to 40 people in this group who either reposted or wrote their own Weibo posts. But this was not the end. Superstars gathered to join in the fun, and it could cause a chain reaction. When other C-listers and D-listers saw this, they became anxious. Oh my god, all the big stars are supporting, I have to support too. At least I can pull them into the circle. What's more, Jin Shirui's boyfriend is something new. We also want the number of people to surpass 500,000 to see his looks. This was simply like dominoes, one after another. That evening, the internet was flooded with comments about Qin Guang. Weibo exploded. The entertainment industry also became lively. All the major Q groups, WeChat groups and Tieba exploded. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that something he came up with on a whim would cause such a huge commotion on the internet. Chapter 452. Qin Guang had no idea what was going on outside. He was busy fighting, so he didn't have the time to check on the number of viewers. He gave Xianxia a call and told her that he had some matters to attend to. From the looks of it, he wouldn't be able to return tonight. That's right, he planned to rush to the top of the Southeast Asian server in one go. Wasn't it just 500 points? Wasn't it just winning 20 rounds in a row? How big of a deal was that? There weren't many people who liked Dota. Normally, the number of viewers in Dota, even if it was the finals of a top competition, wouldn't exceed 4 million. Moreover, there were a lot of fake viewers. God knew how many of them were zombie fans. Those who didn't understand the game wouldn't be able to understand it no matter how amazing Qin Guang's maneuvers were. The gaming circle was actually quite a closed circle. No matter how famous the people in this circle were, even if they were the world champions, only the young people who liked the game would know about it. Those who were slightly older or those who didn't like this game but another game, wouldn't know about it at all. The majority of the viewers who came through the celebrities' Weibo posts couldn't understand the exquisite maneuvers in Qin Guang's live stream. At most they would only exclaim when Qin Guang double-killed, triple-killed, quadruple-killed or even went berserk. Was this game so simple? Just by watching this person move his mouse here and there he could kill everyone? But even if they couldn't understand it, it didn't stop these people from staying in the live stream. They were still thinking about Qin Guang's looks and the video connection with Jin Shirui. Qin Guang's Weibo post had effectively kept non-gamers here. Therefore Qin Guang's live stream completely exploded. Ever since Jin Jiang and Jin Shuiwei reposted it, the number of viewers started to increase from 300,000 to 600,000, 1 million, 1,800,000, 3 million, 5,500,000. It didn't stop, it was still increasing. Little Tsong had already transferred more than half of the server resources of the entire website to Qin Guang's livestream. At first he was considering whether he should send some zombie fans to Qin Guang to boost his popularity. However, after seeing the situation he realized that there was no need for that. There was really no need for that. Little Tsong watched as the number of registered users soared, then looked at the popularity of Qin Guang's livestream that exploded in the livestream industry. His face was almost crooked from smiling. Since the beginning of Bamboo live streaming, he has used many ways to promote his popularity, such as finding celebrities to do live streaming, signing Korean girl groups, or poaching well-known anchors from other platforms. Although these business methods are quite effective, in the past 6 months, Bamboo has not succeeded in surpassing soy milk to become the #1 in the industry. In the end, the guy that Zhong Bai introduced was really awesome. The last time he played the piano, the popularity of Bamboo's live broadcast skyrocketed. This time it brought him directly to the sky. I didn't think that there would be a day when I, Little Tsong, could be brought to the sky by someone. After today, the number of new registered users is more than the countless business methods in the past 3 months combined. Little Tsong was a businessman. He also knew that although the other party was giving him such a good opportunity because of their friendship, he couldn't silently take advantage of such a big advantage. After today, if this person still wanted to work in the livestream industry, the contract that others poached from him would be at least 8 figures a year. Therefore, after thinking about it, he called Zhong Bai. At first he wanted to throw out a contract of 20 million a year because he thought it was worth it. However, when he heard from Zhong Bai that this god directly snatched away nearly 200 million in assets in the racing competition, and then thought about the other party's identity as Jin Shuiwei's boyfriend, Little Tsong looked at the contract that his secretary had just prepared and hesitated. 4 other anchors, this was simply enough to make people rush up and beg for the contract. However, it didn't seem to be very attractive to this brother Qin Guang. He began to worry again. What should he do? At this time the outside world was in full swing, but it didn't affect Qin Guang's performance at all. His game was almost at the end, and he was leading his other 4 teammates to stand on the enemy's high ground. Some people who originally suspected that he was playing on behalf of others were already in the internet cafe with their mouths wide open and eyes blinded. With 9,500 points, he actually led 4 teammates with 5,000 points to crush an opponent with an average of 6,000 points. From start to finish, he maintained an absolute suppression. What was even more frightening was that the game character he was controlling displayed perfect control. Every movement, every skill release, the control of attack, defense, and development rhythm, as well as the prediction of where to fog and chase. It was all too perfect. It was so perfect that it didn't seem like it was being controlled by a human. It was more like a machine, and it was a robot with a blueprint. The owner of the internet cafe who had promised him 5,000 yuan couldn't say a word from start to finish. Brother, you really are blinding my eyes. It turned out that you, God Xianxia, had fought your way up to the top with your own strength without mixing it up. Finally, about half an hour into the game, the other party helplessly typed GG. After easily winning the game, Qin Guang switched to the screen to look at the situation in the live broadcast room. He was blinded by the dense barrage of comments. When he looked at the number of people online, he couldn't believe his eyes. 34 million people online? Damn. I only played a game for half an hour and they really gave me so many people. No wonder the screen was full of comments calling me a liar. I didn't look good and I didn't have a video call with Jin Shuiwei. How could I have thought of this situation? How could I come out in the middle of a team battle and turn on the camera? That *T live broadcast announcement that I posted on Weibo was so powerful? Why can't I believe my own eyes? I only have a little more than 10 million fans, and with a shout more than 8 million viewers came? My fan conversion rate is so high. That's right, that's for sure. I'm an almighty Superman. Alright, this is still *T. So what's wrong with this world? Then he immediately gave Little Tsong a call and asked if this brother had deliberately manipulated zombie fans backstage to cause trouble and forcefully gather 5 million viewers to stir up trouble. Unexpectedly, little Tsong insisted that the number of people in the audience was definitely not fake. They were all real living people. Now, 3/4 of the entire live broadcast platform servers are in your live broadcast room. Little Tsong still wanted to say something, but Qin Guang hung up on him. I'm in a daze right now and I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. I just casually said that I wanted to find Jin Shiyue for a video call, but I didn't expect it to come true. What should I do now? Turning on the camera was a small matter. With my handsome and domineering face, I'll definitely be able to get all 8 million people to become my fans. Oh right, boss, does your camera have a beautifying function? No. Forget it, I'll not turn on the camera. I'm a skilled player and I still have to rely on my strength to make a living. Although my looks are heaven-defying, I can't be so superficial. Chapter 453. His head hurt. He had already sent out the message, but when he called just now, Jin Shiyue was obviously filming on the set. She must be busy now, how could he call her for a video call? Besides, she was such a big shot. Although she claimed to be his girlfriend, in reality, it wasn't like that at all. It was indeed too much to bother her like this. The countless viewers in the live stream, seeing that Qin Guang had already finished a round without any movement, started to make a ruckus again. What scammer, what malicious hype, all sorts of words came out. The small number of real Dota players in the audience completely suppressed the discussion about the game. It couldn't be helped, there were all kinds of birds in the forest. The purpose of these people in the live stream wasn't to see Qin Guang himself or to see him play the game, it was just to see Jin Shiyue. Towards the overwhelming abuse and doubts in the bullet screen, Qin Guang only smiled calmly and then blocked the bullet screen. He had to block it. It was really infuriating. Without the bullet screen it was much quieter. Brother Qin Guang, I know why there are so many people in your live stream. A guy sitting beside him was scrolling through Weibo. Qin Guang turned his head and looked, only to find that countless celebrities were either reposting or personally writing on Weibo to promote his live stream. He counted with his fingers and cursed in his heart. According to the advertising fees of internet celebrities, how much advertising fees would he owe? Oh, it's okay, I'm not familiar with those people anyway and I didn't ask them to post it. You don't have to pay, I'll just pretend that nothing happened. Fine, let them scold, anyway the main purpose of my livestream is for the Dota statue of God. Don't be fooled by the popularity of the livestream. Those who don't like Dota will obviously not provide a single cent of faith for the Dota statue of God. It doesn't matter even if those who are clamoring to cancel their subscriptions run away. Just as he was about to switch back to the game interface, Jin Shiyue took the initiative to call. When he answered, the person speaking was actually Jiang Yache. Hello. Didn't you say that you would video call when the number reached 5 million? Sister Shiyue and I have been waiting for you here for a long time. Why don't you turn on the computer and play the video? Stop fooling around. I'm just spouting nonsense. Jiang Yache panicked. How can you say that? Sister Shiyue and I have reposted it, so many people have reposted it. If you go back on your word, the consequences will be very serious. It'll ruin my reputation. So serious. Jiang Yache nodded heavily. It's that serious. Quick. We have to start shooting in a few minutes. We won't be able to chat for a few minutes. Just show your face a little. Qin Guang rolled his eyes. If he didn't turn on the video call, he would be targeted instead. He first asked the boss to turn on the webcam and microphone before logging into QQ. As soon as he did so, Jin Shiyue's video request popped up. After connecting the video, Jin Shiyue's beautiful face appeared on the screen. At this time her hair was tied up in a bun. It was obvious that she was in a costume drama. Even if it was a low-quality video call, it still couldn't diminish her beauty. She smiled sweetly at the camera, but the first thing she said was not to Qin Guang. Instead she said, "Hello everyone in the livestream room, I'm Jin Shiyue. I'm very happy to see everyone here. Please support my boyfriend like how you support me." Just as Jin Shiyue finished speaking, Jiang Yache also moved her face over and blinked at the camera. She even squeezed Jin Shiyue's head to the side. "I finally get to see you. Support your left and right hand, support brother-in-law." On the other side, Jin Shiyue snatched the camera back. "Here we've connected. The stage manager is calling us over to shoot the movie. We'll go offline first." Jiang Yache moved her face over again. "Everyone, don't scold brother-in-law for not keeping his word. Otherwise we'll be angry. The video call was really connected. Not only was there Jin Shuiwei, but there was also Jiang Yage. The moment Jin Shuiwei opened her mouth, she called him her boyfriend. Jiang Yage said brother-in-law every time she opened her mouth. Sai, do you guys have to be so overboard with your public display of affection? Are you trying to kill us single dogs? The old men in the livestream room held their hearts and cried out in pain. The internet cafe colleagues behind Chen Guang were also crying for help. Although her left and right hand weren't high and mighty, no one could see what they were like in private. Usually these two people were elusive. But for her man, she actually took time out between filming to do a video call. No one would have thought that Jin Shuiwei would go to such an extent for her boyfriend. If he had such a wife, what else could he ask for? Too much, this was simply too much. Merciless abuse. Chen Guang hung up the video call. His mind wasn't thinking about Jin Shuiwei. Instead, he felt that Jiang Yage's eyes were blinking strangely. The frequency seemed to be too high. What was she hinting at? Brother. You're practically the god of picking up girls. I'm going to kneel down for you. The guy sitting next to Chen Guang turned his head and patted Chen Guang's shoulder heavily. His eyes were filled with admiration. Chen Guang unblocked the bullet screen and was speechless. He didn't know who started the rhythm of the bullet screen, but the screen was filled with 4 words. God of picking up girls. Oh my, I really need a god of picking up girls. Although the time of the video call was short, it satisfied the majority of the audience. There weren't many people scolding in the bullet screen. After all, he had already done what he said. During this time, the number of people in the live broadcast room had gradually increased to 9 million. Not only were the audience from Bamboo Live Broadcast gathered here, but many people were even pulled over from other platforms. If it was an anchor who truly intended to devote himself to the live broadcast industry, he would be so excited that he wouldn't even know what his surname was. But at this time, Chen Guang was thinking in his heart. He didn't know how many fanatical fans he could produce among these 9 million viewers. Popularity was all illusory, faith was the real thing. In fact, he also knew that he shouldn't have too much hope. There were less than 100 fans who could contribute double digits like Rufei or Wupan Junyao to the title of God of Racing on a global scale. Fanatical fans weren't that easy to come by. It required the other party to be completely liberated from the body and soul before they could produce extreme worship in the depths of their hearts. Oh my, Thailand's dead sissies' physical and mental liberation seemed a bit scary? Alright, don't think about those useless things. Turning off the video, Chen Guang left a voice message and said, "Thank you everyone for your support today. Those who love Dota, please stay behind and witness a miracle with me. As for the rest, you guys can go back to what you're busy with. I'll show you guys another day. No matter what you guys like, I'll appear before you guys sooner or later." He began to crazily increase his points. After a short video call, the number of people in the live broadcast room gradually began to drop. This was also a normal phenomenon. After all, most of the audience came for the video call with Jin Shuiwei. These people were satisfied, but they also knew that there wouldn't be another video call in a short period of time. They didn't understand the game, so there was no point in continuing to stay here. 9 million, 8 million, 7 million. In the end, when the number of people dropped to more than 1.5 million, it finally stopped dropping. At this time, most of the people who were willing to stay were Dota players. The reason for them to stay was also very simple. In the previous game, the skills that Chen Guang had displayed were really out of this world. His celestial stairway points were also really high. These people were the people that he really needed to witness his magnificent feat. However, it wasn't completely without benefits. In less than half an hour, Chen Guang changed from a nameless newcomer in the industry who had just started live streaming to the top live streamer in this industry. If there were a total of 2 million real viewers in the evening of the national Dota live broadcast, Chen Guang personally diverted 3/4 of them. This was a rare thing in the entire industry, not to mention that he was a newcomer who had just started live streaming. He even attracted many Dota players who used to only watch live broadcasts on other platforms. In fact, these people were initially moved by the clamor on the internet and came for Jin Shuiwei's video call. However, they were real Dota players. They could understand Chen Guang's skills. This place was like a black hole to them. Once they came, they couldn't leave. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Chen Guang climbed to the top of the Southeast Asian server with a terrifying record of 20 consecutive wins. Extremely perfect skills, never making mistakes in team battles, crushing the enemy with the wind, going against the wind to save the world. Every game was a highlight of his perfect control, and the audience was blown away. It was already 3 o'clock in the morning. When he announced that he had succeeded today and was preparing to go offline, there were still more than 500,000 live fans left in the live broadcast room. Although he went home to sleep, the legend remained in internet cafes, tiaba and forums. Although I'm a professional player, I've also become his fan. I've never thought that one person could play the game to this extent. I used to think that the top players were all in the professional teams, and that the upper limit of the amateur players would definitely not be able to catch up with the professional players. But now I realize that I was wrong. I was ridiculously wrong. I don't understand how he did it at all. He's a freak, a miracle in the history of esports. His appearance can advance the standard of esports by 20 years. He's the epitome of perfection, the epitome of unparalleled strength. He turned a game of 5 people into a domain of 1 person. This was the first time Qin Guang had used a live broadcast to show the perfect skills he had obtained in the hellish training grounds of Dota to the world. He used his undeniable strength to conquer every player in the live broadcast room, completely shattering all doubts and negations on the internet. The next day at 10 o'clock in the morning, Qin Guang woke up on time and went to the internet cafe to continue his live broadcast. The number of people waiting in the internet cafe today was at least several times that of yesterday. The internet cafe was so crowded that it was almost impossible to stand. Yesterday, the news of him winning 20 consecutive games and rushing to the top of the game had spread throughout the 5 capitals. The boss was also very quick-witted to publicize this news to increase the popularity of the internet cafe. Qin Guang did not comment on this. The more people sitting in the internet cafe and watching his first-person view on TV, the better. It was another day of fierce battles. Just because 2 of their teammates had lost a match in 1 match, they won 30 matches to their heart's content. Starting from 8,000 points in the US server, they reached the top in just 1 day and stopped at 8,750 points. At least 200 people came to the internet cafe early in the morning and stayed until midnight. When Qin Guang got up and was ready to leave, the internet cafe in the middle of the night was filled with thunderous applause. The 1.7 million viewers on the platform were also sending gifts like crazy and sending comments like crazy. Not bad, his audience had increased again today. Yesterday there were still a lot of people who did not come to the other station. Today they finally came. Qin Guang was getting closer and closer to the top of the 4 servers. Chapter 454. On the 3rd day, the number of live stream viewers increased to 2 million. This time even players who were not from Dota Tower but players from Playing with Dogs Next Door came. Who wouldn't like a live stream that was always winning and showing off every second? Even if they didn't know much about Dota, MOBA games were all the same. On the 4th day, the American server reached the top, and the number of viewers exceeded 2.5 million. On the 5th day, they started to attack the European server again. Other platforms, such as Soy Milk Live Streaming, announced that they were poaching Qin Guang with an annual salary of 20 million. Although Qin Guang was tempted, he ignored them. Compared to the money, he cared more about the faith points. Currently, people who knew him came directly to Bamboo platform to watch the live stream. Seeing that the statue of Dota was almost in his hands, he didn't want any trouble to happen. If he moved now, he would lose popularity, and if he lost popularity, he would lose faith points. In addition, he didn't believe that Xiao Tsong, who had always worked well with him, wouldn't do nothing. On the 6th day, Xiao Tsong came personally. He didn't come alone but came to the internet cafe with Zhong Bai to find him. Xiao Tsong and Zhong Bai had a very good relationship, and Zhong Bai was someone that Qin Guang trusted. With Zhong Bai as the middleman, everything could be discussed easily. During a short break at noon, the 3 of them sat together in a private room in Jingya Pavilion. Qin Guang didn't expect Xiao Tsong to come personally. This was much more sincere than other platforms. When he saw the contract that Little Tsong had sent him, he was also shocked. Bamboo Live Streaming's current market valuation was close to $200 million, and Xiao Tsong owned about 70% of the shares. In this contract, he used some unknown means to convince the other shareholders to directly give Qin Guang 5% of the shares, and the other shareholders' shares would be reduced proportionally. This meant that Qin Guang, including the last time he played the piano and the 6 days of Dota, had a total of 7 days of live streaming. He earned 10 million US dollars, which was equivalent to 60 million renminbi in China. This was much more shocking than the annual salary of 20 million yuan offered by other platforms. This was a huge amount of cash that had been transferred to his account, and it had made him one of the major shareholders of Bamboo live streaming. That was not all. In addition to the proportion of shares, there was also a work contract. Unlike other people's annual salary contracts, Little Tsong seemed to know that he was just playing around, so he simply prepared an hourly contract for him. Every hour of live broadcast he would earn 10,000 yuan. This meant that if he could live 8 hours a day like other full-time broadcasters, his annual salary would be close to 30 million yuan. Qin Guang thought to himself, although I'm happy that you're giving me money for free, things happened too suddenly and I don't understand at all. This money was not money at all. Brother, what do you think highly of me? Am I worth the price? Brother Qin Guang, in fact I should have come to you 2 days ago. However, in order to convince the other shareholders I delayed it a little. I finally settled it last night, so I flew over from Denghai this morning. Are you satisfied with this contract? If there's no problem, please sign it. We can handle the rest of the procedures slowly. Little Tsong looked at Qin Guang with a smile and put the pen in front of Qin Guang. He believed that no one could refuse the contract he proposed, such a temptation. In a sense he was indeed giving money for free. Am I worth this price? Unexpectedly, Qin Guang did not take his pen but asked. Of course it's worth it. Let me tell you a few figures. Before you started live streaming, our platform had about 30 million registered users, and the number of active users was less than 10 million. In just a few days, the number of registered users skyrocketed to 40 million, and the number of active users increased by 3 million. As the CEO of Bamboo live streaming, I shouldn't disclose these things to my live streamers, but Qin Guang, you are different from others, so I'll tell you this. My team has done accurate calculations. If we want to achieve this user growth by advertising, we have to maintain advertising expenses of at least 30 million per month for 3 months. You may not know this, but you used 6 days to expand our platform by 30% out of thin air. Little Tsong concluded, so in this account it's because you didn't ask us for advertising fees, or else you would still be at a loss. That's why I really want to keep you. To be honest, I'm very afraid that other platforms will poach you, which will cause a heavy blow to me. In the beginning we just casually cooperated and I really didn't expect to create a giant in the live streaming industry. You must know that you are currently streaming a relatively small number of games. Qin Guang was happy. Then I really have unintentionally planted a willow tree. In fact, there were some things that Little Tsong didn't say clearly. The most important factor that prompted him to make this decision was actually not what he said. He could be considered half an insider in the industry, and he knew a little about Jin Shiyue's background. He was even more clear that with a family like Jin Shiyue's, once she announced her love life to the public and confirmed their relationship, this pair would basically be able to grow up far away. He didn't just invest in Qin Guang, but also Jin Shiyue's boyfriend, who was more likely to be her future son-in-law. To be able to tie him to the same boat as this son-in-law before he ascended to the throne, a mere 60 million renminbi investment was really worth it. As they chatted, Qin Guang actually understood in his heart. Why did his live streaming room explode in popularity? It couldn't be separated from the celebrity publicity that Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage did during the broadcast that day. Most of the face that Little Tsong gave him was for Jin Shiyue. Then the problem was that he and Jin Shiyue didn't really have that level of relationship. If it was a thick-skinned man, he might have happily picked up this big bargain. But Qin Guang wasn't that kind of person. He always felt uncomfortable. At that time he used Jin Shiyue's name as a joke to gain popularity, and thought that it was an impossible situation. It really happened and he really connected with Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage. At that time he was actually quite embarrassed, feeling that he owed her a huge favor. Now he still continued to use Jin Shiyue's name to swindle and deceive. He shouldn't be like this. But now in front of him there was another new need. This time the Dota god statue was about to be erected, but what about the other statues in the future? If he wanted to collect faith and make more people worship him, the most reliable method was of course to become a celebrity. But first he couldn't sing. Second, he couldn't act. Third, he didn't know how to put on a show. Fourth, he didn't know how to do variety shows. His face was barely passable, but he was still miles away from being extremely handsome. In short, he wanted to be a celebrity, but he didn't have the talent to become a top celebrity. Currently, the skills that he knew were all unorthodox. It was not a bad idea to participate in the rally competition and become the overlord of the official competition. This way he could often show his face on Central TV Department 5. For example, the reputation of the racing king Schumacher would definitely not be lower than that of an A-list superstar. Unfortunately, he did not have the time to do so. Azure's demand for the idol was getting bigger and bigger, and he was extremely busy. He had to build a new idol and earn more faith points. It was really impossible for him to be a professional racer and participate in the race day by day. Other than racing, the other skills that he knew were all unorthodox. It was completely impossible for him to rely on traditional artists to debut and mingle in the entertainment industry. The rise of the live streaming industry had given him a brand new path. In the future, if he wanted to build a statue of a god, he could do both live streaming and Weibo at the same time. He would definitely get twice the results with half the effort. He could totally embark on the path of an unorthodox, all-round superstar. Little Zhou was indeed very sincere. If he could work well with him, it would definitely be a win-win situation. You earn money, I earn money, and I collect faith. Everyone would be happy. He understood the logic, but this contract had to be signed. As a man, no matter how shameless he was, he still had to have a bottom line. Seeing that he was actually hesitating, Little Zhou was also shocked and quickly gave Zhou Bai a look. Zhou Bai rolled his eyes and ignored Little Kong. How would I dare to butt in on brother racing god's matters? I'll let him think it through himself. Otherwise, if I make him unhappy, wouldn't I tear it apart for those guys? There are a few problems. First, my live streaming time might not be fixed. I don't think it's worth it for you to invest in me like this. I don't deserve to receive these shares. Second, if I do live streaming in the future, it will most likely not be Dota. I will often come up with some unorthodox methods such as the piano performance, sharpening pencils, or throwing darts. Actually, I don't want anything else. I just want popularity. Chen Guang said. Little Zhou slapped his thigh. It's good that you want popularity. The more popular you are, the more popular my website will be and the more valuable it will be. Isn't that good? No. You might not understand what I mean. I don't want money. I only want popularity. So, you can use the shares that you are going to give me or my salary as publicity expenses. Spend it all on me. Huh. I don't want money. I just want publicity. Little Zhou felt that he had heard wrongly. Don't joke around. Who doesn't want money? I don't want money. I just want publicity. My next plan might be to make myself a star, but I will be different from ordinary stars. This is because all I know are unorthodox methods. Some things might not be that interesting and I won't be able to attract many people. However, I want you to think of ways to make me popular. As long as I start broadcasting, the actual audience cannot be less than 1 million. The more the better. I want every live streaming, no matter what the content is, I want the best publicity. Even if you lose money, you have to do it. Chen Guang thought it through very clearly. Money was a worldly possession that could not be brought with him in life or death. However, if he could continuously collect faith and promote the statue, he could speed up the process of promoting the world in a cup. After completing all the world in a cup, he could save Lori. She was the god emperor of the endless god world. He could even become the lord of the 3,000 worlds, a godlike existence. This universe of his was just one of the countless planes in Lori's father's body. If I do well, the entire world, the entire universe will be mine. Do I still need this bit of money? I am a person with aspirations and ideals, okay? There was no need to say which was more important. Chapter 455. What he threw to Little Zhou was a big pie in the sky. He didn't want money, he just wanted popularity. Little Zhou would be more motivated to do things and the website would become bigger and stronger. That would be his pure profit. What he wanted the most now was faith points and he wanted to earn money. That way everyone would be happy. Okay. I won't take advantage of you for nothing. You want popularity, I'll give it to you. Let's create a star together. An unconventional superstar that's completely different from traditional celebrities. Actually, I signed those Korean girl groups and new celebrities to create a star through live streaming. Unfortunately, it wasn't very successful before. But if it's an almighty Superman like you, I think I can put up a fight. Previously, I prepared a 5-year contract for you. Currently, the shares are worth 60 million, the hourly salary is 10,000, and the annual salary is about 30 million. How about this? No matter what you want to broadcast, I'll create at least 50 million in advertising fees from you every year. This has to be written in the contract. Also, if your live streaming time is long enough and you're popular enough, the advertising fees can increase. There's no upper limit. Anyway, your live streaming room is with me and the popularity is with my website. Little Tsong slapped his thigh. It was settled. Zhongbai was happy. He had personally witnessed Chen Guang racing, throwing darts and playing the piano. Although he didn't know where Chen Guang learned those messy skills, he knew that if Chen Guang really wanted to do something, even if it was just taking a dump in the toilet, it would definitely be shocking. He had much more confidence in Chen Guang than the average person. Zhongbai patted Little Tsong's shoulder. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Zhongbai absolutely didn't dare to believe it. If he was really tricked by the heavenly Holy Grail and forced to that extent, it wasn't like he couldn't broadcast the matter of taking a dump. Next, Little Tsong signed the last-minute revised contract and it was done. After that, Chen Guang returned to the internet cafe to start his live streaming. Little Tsong was indeed awesome. After returning, he started to crazily advertise, and the number of viewers in his live streaming room once again exceeded 3 million. The 7th day. This was a day worthy of commemoration by all the Dota players around the world. To Chen Guang, it was also an extremely important day. When the words, Tianhui's victory, appeared on the screen, he had finally reached 10,000 points in the last American server. At the same time, on the platform of the Cloud City's wall, the 100-meter-tall statue of Dota slowly rose. The image of the statue given by the Holy Grail was not bad. It was a huge round shield, which symbolized Dota's highest honor, the champion shield of the International Invitational Tournament. Chen Guang had never participated in an international invitational tournament before, but he had hidden the champion's shield in his own cup world. Chen Guang's mind entered the world in the cup. He was also looking forward to seeing how much faith the statue would give him. In the outside world, the Sword Tower Circle was in a frenzy. The first great god in history was born. There was no one before him and perhaps no one in the future would be able to do so. Whether it was domestic or foreign Dota enthusiasts, after seeing the data on the data network, they were all stunned. After clicking in to see the results, it was even more unbelievable. All kinds of exclamations of, "Oh my God, my seventh granduncle," rang out one after another. The players who didn't watch the live stream and followed Chen Guang all the way up didn't understand how someone could create such a miracle at all. But for those who watched until now, there were only exclamation marks in their minds. Countless faith points emerged from these people's minds and rushed straight to the sky, crossing thousands of mountains and rivers, heading straight to where Chen Guang was. At this time, Chen Guang stood under the champion's shield, put his hand on it and quietly felt the faith points that were gradually surging up. After a long time, he opened his eyes in satisfaction. In fact, the harvest was already very good. The nonsensical idea of 10,000 fanatical fans was impossible. Every fanatical fan was a rare resource that could only be encountered and not sought. The entire Sword Tower Circle provided him with a total of about 100 fanatical fans. Ordinary fans and casual fans were all at the level of 100,000. On average, the Dota statue's daily faith income was as much as 10,000, almost half of the income of Otto's statue. One had to know that the source of the Otto statue's faith was almost 70% of the world's population. There were less than 1 million Sword Tower players in the world. Relying on a higher proportion of fanatical fans and a smaller fan base, it generated close to half of the income of Otto's statue, increasing Chen Guang's daily total income to a little more than 30,000. To be honest, this was actually already a pleasant surprise. At this time, a notification suddenly sounded in his heart. It was the familiar electronic voice of the heavenly Holy Grail. The total amount of faith points has reached 150,000. Do you want to activate the acceleration of the world in the cup? Accelerate? What did that mean? That means if the next world in the cup appears 10 days later, you can pay the faith points to accelerate it once, which can reduce the time by about 1 day. Azure's voice came at the right time. Although I really want to become the master of the 3,000 worlds as soon as possible, I've never done anything like the world in the cup in the sky. I'm a little nervous, actually I'd rather it be slower. Speed up my ass. Chen Guang rolled his eyes. Azure chuckled. I'm sorry, I've already helped you to accelerate it. Don't worry, I can still protect you in the world in the cup, you won't die. Damn you. What did you say? Why is the sun so round today? Scram. Azure kicked Qin Guang away. Before he fell, she even reminded him, don't forget you only have 52 days left. You still need a few statues. Qin Guang cursed Azure in his heart, but he still obtained some useful information. Azure had previously said that customizing a world in the acting cup required about 6 million faith points. Now the cost of accelerating it for a day was 150,000. This meant that the frequency of the world in the cup in the sky was much higher than the frequency of seeing the spirit in the sky, about once a month and a half. At least he could breathe a sigh of relief. Just like before, there would be sudden attacks from time to time, which was a little too scary. He was looking forward to it and worried at the same time. What kind of style would his first world in the one-line sky cup be? Fortunately, there would be a notification one day in advance. When the time came, it shouldn't be too bad, right? After Azure kicked Qin Guang away, she turned around and flew to the center of Cloud City. Just as she was about to sit back on the computer, she suddenly heard a faint voice beside her. Is he like this now? How disappointing. Azure raised her eyebrows and turned around sharply. Then she said loudly, how did you get here? At this moment, on the ground in front of her, there stood a delicate and beautiful flower. It was about a foot tall, and its 6 crystal-clear petals were shining with an emerald-green light. It was swaying non-stop in the windless center of Cloud City. Following Azure's words, this flower actually spoke. That's right, it was really speaking. Its petals opened and closed, and then a beautiful female voice was heard. The tone was cold, but it was pleasant to listen to. I wrote a letter to you and hid it next to his god's fury. When his god's fury broke through space and came, my letter came along with it. The god's wrath that this flower was talking about was actually the white light that tore apart Qin Guang's non-existent body in the universe when the heavenly holy grail broke through to the one-line sky from Jianling sky. Dear Cry, you're too daring. How dare you tamper with his god's wrath? Aren't you afraid that something will happen to your soul? Azure rolled her eyes. She was about to break down because of this flower. This flower named Dear Cry sighed. You're right, something did happen. The letter I wrote was torn to pieces by God's wrath halfway, but it turned into this wisp of soul again. So that's it. What about your real body? Azure asked nervously. Dear Cry trembled. I don't know. This wisp of my soul has also lost contact with my real body. At first, this soul couldn't be condensed. After he came in just now, I borrowed some of his dharma and barely condensed this flower. Azure covered her forehead. Why did you write me a letter for no reason? I really admire you. Dear Cry's tone was still indifferent, but it seemed to be a little wronged. It's been 80 million years since you left, and I'm very unhappy alone. Her voice became lower and lower as she spoke, as if she was extremely tired after just transforming. The branches of Dear Cry that grew on the ground gradually bent, and the flower buds drooped down, no longer moving. Since then, in the empty world in the cup, there was a new person, Dear Cry flower. Qin Guang, who had already left, naturally didn't know what happened in the world in the cup. He turned off the live broadcast and stood up to accept the worship and cheers of countless people in the internet cafe. The internet cafe owner was so excited that his face turned red. He rushed up and wanted to hug Qin Guang, and his 2 sausage lips kissed Qin Guang's face. Brother. You're my brother. You're too strong. I hereby announce that from now on, you're a lifetime honorary member of my internet cafe. You don't need to pay to surf the internet here. Every time you come, I'll give you a bottle of green tea. Qin Guang placed his palm on Su Tao's face and pulled Su Tao's head back. What the fuck? You're just a crappy internet cafe and you're still a lifetime honorary member? Your skin is comparable to mine. Move. Move your sausage mouth that can hold 2 tails of oil. He struggled to break free from the internet cafe owner's entanglement, but before he could take a step forward, another 7 or 8 men surrounded him. These guys' eyes were all shining with a murderous light. Quick! Touch the great god and get some glory. Touch the stairway to heaven and you'll get 500 points. Great god, can you sell me today's battle robe? I'll pay 5,000. Great god, I'll pay 10,000 for your underwear. Great god, I'll change your gender for you. Qin Guang was scared out of his wits by this group of bastards. He kept retreating. These men were simply like scourges and fierce beasts. There were only 100 or so fanatical fans in total. The foreheads of these men in the internet cafe were all in the double digits. This place alone took up close to 10 people. The effect of watching live was indeed outstanding. If he were to stay here today, he wouldn't be able to keep his chastity in his old age. Just as he took 2 steps back, someone hugged him from behind. That plump and bouncy feeling was quite intense. Qin Guang turned his head. That's more like it. This was a rather hot girl with a pretty face. Her face was also unusually flushed, and the number of faith points that appeared on her forehead was as high as 18 points a day. Very good, very strong, very fanatical. She hugged Qin Guang with all her might. Everyone get out of my way. Please inject your great god essence into my body. Qin Guang was overjoyed. That's right, it's you. Just as he was about to hug this girl and run off to do something, someone shouted, "Save it. He's Jin Shiyue's boyfriend. Why would he like you?" A basin of cold water was poured over Qin Guang's head. That seemed to be the case. Although his relationship with Jin Shiyue was fake, the people didn't think so. He was using the title of Jin Shiyue's boyfriend outside. He really had to be careful of his image. He couldn't be a fanatical fan demon. He felt sorry for himself for 30 seconds before saying, "Female classmate, thank you for your attention, but I already have a girlfriend." His expression instantly became incomparably serious. He spoke righteously, and a glow of righteousness shone from his body. "But I'm a man with a bottom line." His heart was bleeding as he said that. Chapter 456. Happily returning home, Qin Guang felt a sense of accomplishment as he felt his faith points increasing rapidly. Coupled with the delicious supper that Zhou Xian prepared for him, it was needless to say how good his days were. You're not allowed to play games tomorrow. Come to my lab and do some proper work. Although you're not short of money, you can't keep playing, right? Zhou Xian did not know that Qin Guang's gaming was also proper work, so she habitually put on the airs of a teacher. Qin Guang shoved a mouthful of rice into his mouth, then stretched out his perverted hands to take advantage of Zhou Xian. "I know. I've been playing too crazily recently and I'm sick of it. I'll be at the lab tomorrow, so I won't have the courage to play games again in the near future." He was not talking nonsense. After a few days of continuous battles, his nausea that had almost recovered was acting up again today. He reckoned that if he lost 2 more matches, he might not be able to last until the end of the day. As the two were chatting, Qin Guang received a text message on his phone. He was overjoyed when he saw it. It was from Bamboo Culture Little Tsong's live streaming platform. This was not his salary, but the gifts that Qin Guang had received in the past few days. He did not particularly care about this matter. After all, he was aiming for the end of the world and he had to carry 4 legs at the same time. From time to time he would still encounter people watching his live stream. It was quite tiring to play, so he did not have the mood to interact with the bullet screen. In the end, he still could not stop the passionate audience from giving him gifts. In 6 days he had received a total of nearly 500,000 yuan in gifts. Nearly 100,000 yuan a day. He had to thank Little Tsong for giving him so much. Other live streamers had a 40-60 or 50-50 split with their platform, but Qin Guang was the only one who got a full share. All the gifts from the audience belonged to him, and Bamboo Culture Live did not ask for a single cent. The reason was simple. Qin Guang was so generous that he did not even need to sign a 5-year contract with Little Kong. This bit of gift money was just a small matter. He could just treat it as selling a favor to deepen their relationship. Well, this was nothing compared to his net worth of nearly 200 million, but it was still hard-earned money after all, and he felt a great sense of accomplishment. Look, I'm not slacking off. I've earned 500,000 yuan playing games these few days. Qin Guang happily showed Zhou Xian the text on his phone. He was getting more and more obnoxious. Nonsense, although he couldn't really do anything now, it wouldn't be too much to satisfy his cravings. Zhou Xian blushed and slapped his perverted hand away. "Don't touch me. The doctor said it'll take a month." He couldn't act recklessly. "You're already a millionaire, yet you're still so happy with just 500,000 yuan. Aren't you ashamed?" As she spoke, Zhou Xian got up and ran towards the door. She had no choice but to run. She was really afraid that Qin Guang would ignite their fire. "Remember, I'll call you tomorrow morning." Before leaving, she turned around and reminded him. The next day when Qin Guang arrived at the laboratory early in the morning, he teased Zhong Yu and Hua Ling. "Yo, the Empress's son-in-law is finally willing to grace us with his presence. It's really an honor for us." Zhong Yu covered her mouth and laughed. Hua Ling, on the other hand, was helping Qin Guang. "Alright Zhong Yu, don't scold him anymore. Didn't you see how sneaky he was when he went upstairs with his sunglasses on? He was afraid of being recognized. It's not easy to be the son-in-law. There's nothing going on between him and Goddess Jean." Zhong Yu first looked at Zhou Xian, who was busy with her work, and then looked at Qin Guang meaningfully. "From what I see, it's hard to say if Goddess Jean really has feelings for him, but do you dare to say that you're not tempted by our online celebrity Qin? She's helping you put on such an act. I don't believe that she's not interested in you at all." "Actually, I don't really believe it either," Hua Ling added. As they were chatting, Luo Jin came in with a stack of books. When he saw Qin Guang, his brows furrowed. Qin Guang didn't have a good impression of this guy and couldn't be bothered with him. He continued to joke with Zhong Yu as he mixed the medicine. "Aren't you going to spend some alone time with your superstar? What are you doing here in a small fries laboratory?" Luo Jin came up and said sarcastically. Qin Guang instantly became unhappy. "The reason why senior sister Zhong Yu and senior sister Hua Ling can joke with me is because they're related to me. I know that they're just joking with me. You're saying such a cold thing the moment you come up. Aren't you just talking too much to me?" Qin Guang turned to look at him. "Do I know you well?" Luo Jin's face stiffened. He didn't seem very happy, but then he remembered that Su Lijing and his son had fallen into his hands a few days ago. Now Qin Guang could be considered a villain among villains in the school. Luo Jin was angry, but he didn't dare to show it. "Hey Qin Guang, this bottle has been in the greenhouse for too long. I can't open it. Can you help me?" At this time, Zhou Xian came over again and intimately stuffed a bottle into Qin Guang's arms. Luo Jin's heart suddenly lost control. He ridiculed, "Qin Guang, you'd better stay away from Teacher Zhua. You already have a girlfriend." "Hey, look at my bad temper." Qin Guang put the bottle on the lab table and turned to look at this guy who didn't know what was good for him. "Are you asking for a beating?" Qin Guang didn't even have time to scold him before Hua Ling flew into a rage. "Senior brother Luo, aren't you going too far with your words? Is there something going on between Qin Guang and Teacher Zhua? Isn't there something going on between them?" Hearing Hua Ling say this, Qin Guang and Zhou Xian both blushed a little. They really couldn't be called innocent. Zhong Yu also said, "That's right. From what senior brother Luo said, it seems like you think that Qin Guang and Teacher Zhua have some improper relationship. What era is this? Helping to open a bottle is not clear between a man and a woman. Improper relationship." Qin Guang and Zhou Xian rolled their eyes. "Whose side are you two on? Why do I feel like you're scolding me indirectly?" On the other side, Luo Jin had become the target of public criticism. There was no need to mention how wronged he was. Hua Ling waved her hand. She didn't want to deal with Luo Jin anymore. She casually said, "Alright senior brother Luo, we're here to do experiments, not to do those weird things. Just focus on doing experiments and writing papers. That's the right thing to do. Whether Qin Guang is a good person or a bad person, how can we not know?" Zhong Yu snorted. "That's right. That day when Wang Ren bullied Hua Ling, Qin Guang stood up for us. What about you, senior brother Luo? You didn't even dare to fart and came back with your tail between your legs. It's a little unfair for you to be implicated later. But Qin Guang helped settle the matter. Not only did you not say thank you, but you're also acting weird here? You can't be like this." Qin Guang didn't say anything more. He looked down at the phone in Luo Jin's hand. It was a Sony S7. If he remembered correctly, he had seen the review of this model when he was choosing a new phone. The rear camera looked like it had a high resolution, but it was actually flawed. It was very white and easily overexposed. In the post that sold his real identity, Almighty Superman equals Qin Guang equals Jean Shiyue's boyfriend, wasn't there a photo of him walking in school? If he remembered correctly, that photo was indeed a little overexposed and white. Coupled with the fact that this grandson was in a hurry to point out in front of everyone that he was Zhou Xian's boyfriend, it was as if he was afraid that others wouldn't know. Qin Guang said, "I seriously suspect that you're the one who set me up." Whether it was this guy or not, he just had to snatch his phone and see if there was an original photo in it. There was no need for Qin Guang to be polite with this person, so Qin Guang immediately snatched Qin Guang's phone. "What are you doing?" Luo Jin wanted to snatch it back. Qin Guang pressed his left hand against his neck, preventing him from moving. Nothing. Give it back. Give me back my phone. Luo Jin roared. His hands struggled desperately, but it was useless. Their strength was not on the same level at all. Zhou Jingxi frowned slightly. She felt that Qin Guang was quite abnormal today. Usually he wouldn't be so overbearing. What's wrong? All right, stop fooling around. She walked over and was about to persuade him, but she looked up and saw Qin Guang holding Luo Jin's phone in his hand. Most of the photos were taken from different angles. There were photos of her when she was reading a book, photos of her concentrating on an experiment, photos of her on her way home, and even photos of her sleeping on her desk in the laboratory. Qin Guang's fingers shook roughly. There were at least 100 photos. Zhu Jingxi, Zhong Yu and Hua Ling all shouted in their hearts at the same time. Photo-taking maniac. Pervert. Qin Guang was even more furious. Damn, how dare you take photos of my woman? Oh right, this one. Wasn't this the original photo in the post that exposed the news? I feel that you're the one who set me up. Let's see what you're going to say now. Qin Guang clicked on the original photo that he had taken and glared at Luo Jin fiercely. Zhu Jingxi and the other two had also seen the post. How could they not understand when they saw the original high-definition photo? Senior Luo. How could you do this? You're invading other people's privacy. Hua Ling slammed the table. Zhong Yu also looked at Luo Jin with extreme disgust. Have you ever thought about how much trouble this kind of post will cause to the people involved? How could you take photos of other people? Did you get permission from other people before you posted their photos? I used to think that you were a good senior, but now it seems that I was blind. Zhu Jingxi was also angry. Luo Jin, you're such a disappointment. Being exposed on the spot, Luo Jin's face turned green and white. The evidence was conclusive and he could not deny it, so he simply did not hide it anymore. Yes. I did it. So what? You think you're in the right? Zhu Jingxi was so angry that she laughed. Luo Jin snorted. Of course. I'm going to expose Qin Guang, the two-timing Qin shimmy. Teacher Zhui, he's cheating on your feelings. What's going on in your head all day long? You're a pervert who hides and secretly takes photos of other people. How dare you talk about Qin Guang? Hua Ling's fiery temper flared up. Chapter 457. At this moment, an old voice came from the entrance of the laboratory. What's with the ruckus in the laboratory? Let go of me. The few of them hurriedly looked towards the door and saw old Madame Xu panting with rage. Luo Jin immediately wanted to complain. Teacher Xu, Qin Guang, shut up. I've been standing here listening for a few minutes. I know everything. Luo Jin, what did you tell me when you took my postgraduate exam? What are you doing now? Old Madame Xu looked at Luo Jin with a pained expression. You're not suited to working in this laboratory in your current state. Next semester, no, from tomorrow onwards, you don't have to come to this laboratory anymore. No. Luo Jin panicked when he saw that he was about to be chased out of the laboratory. I haven't finished my thesis. Old Madame Xu waved her hand impatiently. Do you think I'm joking with you? Your thesis will be written in Professor Qin's group next semester. That laboratory is full of guys, so you better not disappoint me again. Otherwise, you can forget about being my postgraduate student. I can't take you on. Luo Jin's face stiffened as he looked unwillingly at Zhu Jingxi and then at the determined old Madame Xu before leaving with his head hung low. The matter was exposed by Qin Guang. If it was in the past, he might have dared to say some harsh words to Qin Guang. But now he didn't dare. He regretted that he wouldn't have teased Qin Guang if he knew this would happen. He simply couldn't understand how Qin Guang had guessed his intentions. That thesis had been written with such care and effort, there couldn't be any flaws. Why was it like this? After Luo Jin was chased away, the laboratory quieted down. Old Madame Xu restrained her anger and her expression brightened. She smiled at Qin Guang. You did well. Sai Su Lijing's death is a bit of a pity. He brought it upon himself. Hua Ling said. Old Lady Xu nodded. Indeed, a pitiful person must have a hateful side. He connived with Wang Ren's evil deeds, so he deserves this calamity. If he is allowed to escape this calamity, who knows, more people will suffer in the future. I heard that Deputy Dean Deng has been transferred to the Administrative and Logistics Department. Dean Tong has also been dismissed? Zhong Yu asked. Old Madame Xu nodded with a smile. Xiao Deng deserves it. Wang Ren has been messing around with the things that he did in the Jianhuan College all these years. He didn't have any academic achievements to begin with, so he was sent to the logistics department to be the deputy chief. He didn't even have a proper position. As for Little Yang, he's not a good person. It's better not to let him manage the administration. Little Han has been promoted. He has done a great service this time. Evil had its retribution. Everyone was overjoyed. Vice Principal Han's reputation in the academy had always been good, and she was indeed a responsible and good leader. She had been suppressed by Tong and Deng for the past few years, but in any case she had been a daughter-in-law for many years. Oh right, Xiao Zhuo, didn't I talk to the University of California laboratory about you last time? My old classmate replied and said that you can go anytime. Zhou Jingxi was slightly moved, but she glanced at Chen Guang, who was looking at her eagerly. I'm not going. Isn't everything fine now? Unexpectedly, old Madame Xu said, originally, I only wanted you to be an assistant. It doesn't really matter if you go or not, but they are very satisfied with your resume. Coincidentally, one of their team leaders resigned recently. They hope that you can go over and take over that team leader's position. You can still lead the team there. Going over to be an assistant and leading a research team was completely different. Although there was only a small difference in status between the two, the academic level that they could come into contact with was like heaven and earth. Whether it was to gain experience or to learn real things, being the team leader of a large laboratory was the best training opportunity. It was undeniable that Zhou Jingxi was moved. Zhou Jingxi hesitated. Old Madame Xu was anxious. What are you hesitating for? It's such a good opportunity. If you miss it, you won't encounter such a good opportunity again. Their laboratory is more advanced than ours. Even if you go there to observe and learn for 2 years, you will be able to come into contact with more advanced international theories. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Qin Guang felt like he was about to explode. Hey, what the hell is this? After toppling Su Lijing, he did not even think about Zhou Jingxi going abroad because he felt that there was no need for it. But how did this turn of events happen again? I know that you are reluctant to part with Hua Ling and Zhongyu. How about this? I will make the decision in the second half of the semester and arrange for the two of them to go to Little Yang's laboratory. Old Madame Xu said again. The Little Yang she was talking about was the other team leader in the photocatalyst laboratory. He was not a PhD student like Zhou Jingxi, but a solid postdoctoral student. He was already a little famous in the field of knowledge and had done more research than Zhou Jingxi. If they could change to that laboratory, it would be equivalent to a promotion for Hualing and Zhongyu. Zhou Jingxi felt extremely embarrassed. How could I say it? Actually, what I really care about is my man Qin Guang. But being a scholar was her lifelong dream. Originally, she thought that the cruel test of career and love would not come so soon. After all, Qin Guang was also a student of Gokyo University. But suddenly this matter was thrown in front of her, leaving her defenseless. Finally, she gritted her teeth. Teacher Xu, I still. Teacher Zhuo, you go. This is really a good opportunity. Qin Guang suddenly said. He finally understood. Just as old Madame Xu said, going to Big Yang meant that Zhou Jingxi was a step closer to her dream. Although he felt that it was super cheating, he could not be so selfish. Of course, he remembered Zhou Jingxi's eyes full of longing and desire when she talked about the great prospects of photocatalysis. The Zhou Jingxi who was a scholar and the Zhou Jingxi in her daily life were not the same person at all. She was so fanatical, so persistent. But even so, she wanted to give up this opportunity for him. It was impossible for Qin Guang to say that he was not touched. But as a man, he could not be a stumbling block for her. After feeling sorry for himself for 10 seconds, Qin Guang said with a smile, "It's just 2 years. When Teacher Zhuo comes back, our school is still counting on you to take over Teacher Xu's class. It's quite convenient to take a plane now. When you have time, fly back a few times to visit us. It's not bad." Old Madame Xu also said with a smile, "That's right. When the time comes, I will really have to retire. Although you entered the school not early among the group leaders, you are indeed very talented. In fact, Little Qin and Little Yang are very tempted, but Big Yang is more optimistic about you. I am also more optimistic about you." Zhou Jingxi looked at Qin Guang again, then, "Okay. That's right. Little Zhuo, I know that your family is not very well off. For this kind of private academic training, the laboratory will give you a certain amount of compensation, but it shouldn't be too high. How about this? I still have some savings here. Old Madame Xu had clearly considered this matter very maturely. Zhou Jingxi shook her head and said, "No need, Teacher Xu. I have money here." As she said this, her eyes secretly drifted to Qin Guang. The two had a tacit understanding. Qin Guang smiled happily. "Teacher Xu, you worry too much. Teacher Zhou doesn't lack money. Not lacking money. Fonser. Phil. Money should be spent where it is needed. This is my blade. Alright, but don't force yourself. If you have any difficulties, feel free to tell me. I found an acquaintance to cut the queue for the interview. Big Yang will also communicate with the embassy. Hurry up and get the visa tomorrow. Try to leave within a week." Old Madame Xu said a few more words and left. Standing to the side, Hua Ling and Zhong Yu were envious. At the same time, they felt happy for Zhou Jingxi. But when they saw how Qin Guang and Zhou Jingxi were exchanging glances, they felt that there was a lot of knowledge involved. After a busy day in the laboratory, Qin Guang saw that it was almost 5 in the afternoon. He said goodbye to everyone and slipped away, feeling somewhat dejected as he returned to his rented apartment. Although he had previously crossed that hurdle in his heart, he had only been embarrassed once. The doctor's order hadn't even been fulfilled in a month, and this person was about to fly across the sea. Don't look at my dignified appearance. In fact, I'm so disappointed that I want to hang myself, okay? At this time he received a super wonderful phone call. Brother, I won't be coming back tonight. 7th High's cram school has started, so I'll be staying at 7th High. Ever since the upheaval in the family, Fan Lingshan's growth and changes were drastic. She became extremely independent. She didn't even tell Qin Guang that she was going to 7th High's registration. Today she went to school alone to settle the matter of repeating her 3rd year of high school. Of course, she could only listen in at 7th High's classes. When it was time for the college entrance examination, she would probably have to return to Southeast Province. This good little sister is finally not coming back. Qin Guang was moved to tears. Is this the last dinner that God wants to give me? Study well. Study seriously. Strive to get high marks. Our Gokyo University's medical department is very good. If you don't get into the top 5 clinical medicine majors, don't come back. Qin Guang said, then hung up the phone with a bang and jumped 3 feet high. Then he instantly fell back into a state of depression. There was still a long way to go before the 1-month deadline. I can't die in peace. Lying on the bed, he didn't even have the mood to eat dinner. Ignore me, everyone. I just want to be quiet now. Don't ask me who Jing Jing is. My Jing Jing is going to America. He really fell asleep. Wake up and eat. Sleepyhead. This was Zhou Jingxi's voice, and a strong aroma came from the living room. This is your parting dinner, right? I'm not eating anymore. Go to the ends of the earth. Leave me alone in this cold room and die alone. Qin Guang waved his hand so righteous. Zhou Jingxi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why didn't I see you so weak before? This isn't the Qin Guang I know who dares to go against anyone. That's a different matter. Today my heart is like tofu. I'll break into pieces with one touch. Qin Guang howled again, then continued to pretend to sleep. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.